Chapter 1704. In the 5 great imperial palaces, every great emperor was a peak true god. Only those who were infinitely close to becoming an immortal could be called great emperor. The great emperor of the heavenly god palace was astonishingly powerful. Not everyone dared to attack the Sky Thunder Mountain alone. 2 shocking palms were trying to grab the huge Sky Thunder Mountain. This was too ridiculous. "Little Wu, lend me your immortal weapon again," Little Hay said anxiously. Its body grew bigger and it waved its claws continuously. Lightning runes appeared on the mountain and boundless lightning turned into claws that grabbed at the palms. Rumble, rumble! The powerful lightning energy collided with the palms of the great emperor, causing the mountain to shake. Chaotic divine lightning continued to explode. There were also lightning hammers that came from a distance. There were also lightning forks that carried the chaotic divine lightning toward the great emperor. The great emperor was even more impressive. He ignored the sound of thunder and even grabbed the chaotic divine lightning in his hands, crushing it directly. In the next moment, the great emperor slapped his palms across the sky. It was as if the sky was collapsing when it landed on the Sky Thunder Mountain, causing a large amount of lightning energy to dissipate. The Sky Thunder Mountain shook continuously. Yang Wu and Ziyu, who were inside, were shaken by the torrential energy. It was extremely uncomfortable. Little Hay controlled the Sky Thunder Mountain and 2 immortal weapons. However, it still felt a little powerless. Even if it attracted the chaotic divine lightning, it was still too weak. The chaotic divine lightning it attracted was not strong enough to suppress the great emperor. The great emperor's strength was indeed astonishing. He closed in and opened his palms, trying to force his way into the Sky Thunder Mountain. He was certain that the living beings inside the mountain were not a big threat to him. Woof! Kill! Little Hay would not allow the great emperor to barge in. Once he did, everything here would be taken away by him. The lightning hammers and lightning forks fell at the same time. Boundless chaotic divine lightning exploded at the same time. There was also the true Samadhi fire contained within. All of them enveloped the great emperor. The great emperor's eyes flickered. The cloak on his body shook and blocked the lightning energy. This time, he wasn't able to easily dispel the chaotic divine lightning. The attacks were much more ferocious than before, causing him to feel some pressure. At the same time, the Sky Thunder Mountain suddenly moved and crashed toward him. The true god living beings watching from afar were all stunned. The Sky Thunder Mountain could be moved? This time, even the god emperor was moved. He formed a seal with his palms and blasted it toward the Sky Thunder Mountain. God's palm. The domineering divine palm enveloped heaven and earth, and even the sky was about to explode. Bang! The heavenly Thunder Mountain collided with the power of the palm, creating an incomparably dazzling light. The entire heavenly Thunder Prefecture seemed to be shaking, giving many creatures a fright. It was also at this moment that an intense light flickered in the void, forming a huge vortex that seemed to sweep up everything in the world. After the God Emperor retreated, the Sky Thunder Mountain disappeared. Void formation? Or was it the Void Emperor's doing? The God Emperor looked at the sealed space with a solemn expression. The Divine Emperor was stunned for a moment. He looked at the large area that had been hollowed out and did not stay for long. He turned around and disappeared into the void. At this moment, the other true God experts hurriedly rushed over. The Sky Thunder Mountain is gone. The Sky Thunder Mountain is gone. What should we do? The Sky Thunder Mountain, that has existed for so many years, has been destroyed by the God Emperor of the Heavenly God Palace. How could he do this? This is a great loss to the Heavenly Thunder Prefecture. It might not be the God Emperor's doing. There are living beings in the Sky Thunder Mountain. Perhaps they escaped with the Sky Thunder Mountain. The Sky Thunder Mountain's disappearance will shake the Heavenly Thunder Prefecture's status. We have to think of a solution as soon as possible. This matter is too big. The God Emperor destroyed the Sky Thunder Mountain. This will be recorded in the history books. The Sky Thunder Mountain was gone. The entire Heavenly Thunder Prefecture was shaken. The Sky Thunder Mountain added a large amount of sky thunder to the Heavenly Thunder Prefecture. It could help many lightning cultivators become stronger. It was a sacred place for many lightning cultivators to cultivate. Because of its existence, many experts were born. It also caused the Heavenly Thunder Prefecture's overall strength to be ranked in the top 10. Other than the prefectures where the Emperor's palaces were located, there were not many prefectures that could be compared to them. Many creatures panicked. At the same time, they rushed towards the Sky Thunder body to see if it was true. When they saw that it was empty, they were completely stunned. The Sky Thunder Mountain was really gone. Why did this happen? Why did the God Emperor of the Heavenly God Palace do this? Could it be that he is dissatisfied with the Heavenly Thunder Prefecture? Heavens, quickly return the Sky Thunder Mountain to us. Quickly return it to us. We don't want to lose it. Without the Sky Thunder Mountain, our lightning energy has decreased by more than half. In the future, it might all disappear. How are we going to cultivate? What is going on? Even the God Emperor of the Heavenly God Palace can't be so selfish. Quickly return the Sky Thunder Mountain to us. Many of the living beings began to cry out in pain. They were all experts in lightning energy. The Sky Thunder Mountain was too important to them. If the Sky Thunder Mountain disappeared, they would lose a sacred place for cultivation. It was a great loss to them. Unfortunately, no matter how much they cried, the Sky Thunder Mountain would not return. Where was the Sky Thunder Mountain now? It had already entered the void and traveled to another space. Yang Wu and Ziyu were completely stunned. They thought that the battle between Little He and the God Emperor would be extremely tragic and that they might be affected and die. In reality, that was not the case. When the Sky Thunder Mountain collided with the God Emperor, a void formation was activated and the Sky Thunder Mountain escaped into the void. Little He actually took the Sky Thunder Mountain as if it was a temporary residence and brought it away. She was too capricious. In the blink of an eye, they did not know where the Sky Thunder Mountain had gone. When they sensed something, they were already far away from the God realm and had arrived in a void space. Little He, where are you taking us? Yang Wu calmed down and asked. Back to the human realm, Little He replied. What? Back to the human realm? Yang Wu was stunned. What else? I'm going to merge the two Thunder Mountains and refine the lightning seal. When I come back to the God realm, I'll be able to kill everyone. It won't be difficult for me to kill my way back to the immortal realm, Little He said confidently with her head held high. Can you be a little more reliable? Can you even use such a big block to refine the lightning seal? Aren't I using it right now? Alright, then are we going the right way back to the human realm? I don't know about that. In any case, after I transferred from the human realm to the God realm's Sky Thunder Mountain, I've been sealed. Moreover, the void formation in the human realm seems to be broken. Holy **T. Yang Wu was speechless. The Sky Thunder Mountain did not return to the human realm. Instead, it was floating in the void space. Little He said calmly. With the Sky Thunder Mountain around, there was nothing to be afraid of in the void space. After wandering for hundreds of years, they should be able to find the right direction. Moreover, there were many good things in the void space. If they could find the void stone, they could activate the void formation again and carry out a second transfer. Before that, they had to wait quietly. Yang Wu had no choice but to impart the void body tempering technique to Ziyu so that she could use the power of the void to refine her body and strengthen her body. Ziyu had already cultivated the thunder controlling technique and used the boundless power of lightning to refine her body. She was not any worse than Yang Wu. Therefore, it was not difficult for her to cultivate the void body tempering technique. The two of them cultivated slowly and treasured this rare time together. They had been separated for too long. Although floating in the void space was full of danger and unknown things, it was a rare time for them to be together. The two of them confided in each other about their experiences over the years. They experienced each other's difficulties and treasured this hard-won relationship even more. The only thing that made things difficult for Yang Wu was that he already had a pair of unparalleled Heaven's Pride children. He still told her the truth. No matter if she was angry or not, he should not hide it. After Ziyu heard this, she pinched his waist fiercely and rolled her eyes at him. Playboy! In the next moment, she snuggled into his embrace. All these years, because of her, Yang Wu had been wronged. How could an outstanding man like him not have a woman who liked him? If she could always be by his side, she might be able to prevent these things from happening. Now, she could not blame him. If she wanted to blame someone, she could only blame herself. During the process of cultivating in the Sky Thunder Mountain, the strength of the two of them was also steadily increasing. The Sky Thunder Mountain had many lightning divine medicines, which were enough for their cultivation. Yang Wu had also successfully cultivated the void body tempering technique to the void transformation stage. The void transformation stage allowed one's body to merge with the void and not be strangled by the void power. It also had the effect of hiding in the void. This also meant that his body was no longer suppressed by the void power, and he would not be easily injured in the void. He could walk and fly here at will. Ziyu also improved very quickly. She had cultivated the first 5 levels, and her physical body had improved further. She had also successfully cultivated the void travel technique. This was a secret technique belonging to the Void Palace. Husband, are you sure it's okay to cultivate this void secret technique? I heard that the Void Palace passed down this secret technique, but it's flawed, Ziyu asked. Yang Wu replied, I don't know, but I obtained this inheritance from a mystic realm. It's very complete, much more complete than the one I obtained from the Divine Firmament battlefield. The Divine Firmament battlefield is related to the Purple Firmament Palace? I don't think it's possible, Ziyu said. She continued, the Divine Firmament Forbidden Ground is an ancient forbidden ground. Those who are exiled there all die. Also, the Purple Firmament Palace is unable to determine its exact location. It's just a legend passed down. You can be said to be very lucky to be able to come out from there. Yes, if I can go back there again, I want to uncover the secret there. It might have a lot to do with the Void Palace. Don't touch the Void Palace. Legend says it has something to do with immortals. At that moment, Little Hay spoke up. What do you mean by immortals? It's just a void worm causing trouble. If it wasn't born with a unique talent, it would have been trampled to death by the immortals. It wouldn't have had the chance to be so arrogant. After a pause, she looked ahead and said, We've arrived at the Divine Firmament battlefield you were talking about. Chapter 1705. The Divine Firmament battlefield was also known as the Divine Firmament Forbidden Ground by the Purple Cloud Palace. What kind of place was it exactly? Not many people knew. Only those with the strength of the imperial halls and the top higher-ups knew what was going on. Yang Wu had never thought that he would return to the Divine Firmament battlefield again. He looked into the distance and opened his soul eye. There seemed to be a void in front of him that was bound by a huge hand. It was completely isolated from the outside world. This huge hand was formed by the power of the void and contained the universe. It was formed by countless divine chains that suppressed the void. Yang Wu could only vaguely see some images. It was not like Little Hay's sneaky eyes that could see through everything. Little Hay's ability was much greater than his. Otherwise, how could she know that it was the Divine Firmament battlefield? Yang Wu had never thought that the Divine Firmament battlefield would be like this. Now that he saw it from the outside, he was even more sure that there was a lot going on here. Someone was controlling everything. The human world would enter this place through some special channels. Where would they be teleported to in the end? He thought of the Tao of Void. Could it be that they had all joined the Void Palace? If so, wouldn't all the geniuses of the human world be in the Void Palace? Did this mean that the Void Palace already controlled more people in the human world? Or even the lifeline? Yang Wu did not dare to think about it. When they were about to reach the divine firmament battlefield, a terrifying creature appeared. It was a swarm of void bugs. Buzz. The void bugs shuttled through the void toward the sky thunder mountain. They looked very ferocious and were not small. It was almost impossible for living beings to notice them when they merged into the void. Yang Wu and Little Hay both had special eyesight. That was why they could see them. Otherwise, they would not have known when they were near. These damn bugs. How dare they come to die? No, there's still a big guy in the distance. Little Hay snorted. She discovered something else and screamed. She directly urged the sky thunder mountain to change direction and escape. Yang Wu had never seen Little Hay so nervous. He used his immortal chi to activate his soul eye and looked into the distance. After the celestial chi poured in, his soul eyes saw through the layers of space and landed on the battlefield of godly clouds. He saw a gigantic worm that covered the sky. It was like an invincible overlord. Whoever dared to get close to it would become its food. It was sleeping and had not been awakened, or nothing could awaken it, or it was like a creature that had died. It had completely blended into the void. Even a true god might not be able to discover its existence. Don't look. Take it back, Little Hay exclaimed. Yang Wu quickly closed his eyes, not daring to look at the void worm again. Who would have thought that the stinky bug would be so well planned? It even has the lifeline of the human realm in its grasp. Is it trying to figure out the secrets of the human realm and present its master with such a huge gift? Little Hay said impatiently. What's going on? Yang Wu asked. What's going on? I also want to know, but it's fine if I don't know now. But there are many humans in the battlefield of godly clouds. There are also people who used to follow great Emperor Jinwu. Since I'm here again, I want to save them. That's right. You have some connections with great Emperor Jinwu. You have to think of a way to go in and take a look. Maybe you'll find more. You still dare to go in now? Haha, with me here, I can't hide anything. That big guy looks fierce because I haven't recovered my original strength. Otherwise, I would have crushed it in a minute. Then why are you running now? Don't talk nonsense. I'm preparing to go in again. That void restriction is not ordinary. It's an immortal's method. Immortals were still very far away from Yang Wu and the others. If this was an immortal's method, then was there an immortal interfering in this void? Yang Wu didn't ask anymore. He had many thoughts in his mind. The Wind Spirit race and the Dark Moon race were former subordinates of great Emperor Jinwu on the battlefield of godly clouds. He didn't want to face them, but he couldn't get over it. It wasn't for great Emperor Jinwu, but to get them out of this sea of suffering. Ziyu felt that Yang Wu's thoughts were a little chaotic. She held his hand and said gently, "Don't think too much. Our priority now is to improve our strength. When we're stronger, all the restrictions will be lifted." Yang Wu tilted his head and looked at Ziyu's beautiful face. He gently caressed it and said with a smile, "You are right. We are husband and wife. We will definitely be able to solve all problems." Now, he had already collected 7 kinds of Xian essence qi and integrated many high-level Xian formulas. The supreme 9 Xian formulas absorbed the power of the Xian qi of heaven and earth much faster. In the space of nothingness, he was still absorbing a large amount of void power from the void cracks into his body and increasing his strength. Before they knew it, they had been drifting in the void for more than a year. Little Hay had been busy. Sometimes, she would rush out of Sky Thunder Mountain and enter the void to search for things in the void. Yang Wu and Ziyu also came out occasionally to cultivate the Void Claw and the Void Traversing technique to improve their strength. Gradually, they touched on the Tao of the Void. The Tao of the Void had always been cultivated by the Void Hall. If outsiders comprehended the Tao of the Void, they would usually join the Void Hall to cultivate more powerful technique. The Tao of the Void was unparalleled in the world. This was a well-known fact. In these 2 years, with little Hay around, they had never been too intimate. Although they had many opportunities, they didn't have the mood to do so. Now, the two of them were more and more in sync. The feeling of childhood sweethearts came back. This was the reason why the two of them were born to be a couple. Nothing would change, just because of the changes in time. On this day, little Hay came back from outside and shouted, "Woof, woof! I finally found the passage to the Void Formation." "That means we can leave the Divine Firmament battlefield?" asked Yang Wu. "Is it absolutely safe?" Ziyue asked from the side. "Of course it's foolproof when I do things. The Void Formation here is very hidden. As long as I find an opening, I can move Sky Thunder Mountain over. However, you have to be careful. Even if you want to save those living beings, you can't be rash. In addition, you have to open the Void Gate to the Transcendence so that you can return to the Transcendence at any time," said Little Hay seriously. "You can do as you see fit. Anyway, I don't know anything about formations." Yang Wu shrugged. "If Little Lu was here, I could teach him all my formations." Little Hay sighed and started to set up the Void Formation. This kind of formation was very difficult. It was not something that an ordinary living being could do. Little Hay was simply omnipotent. She used all kinds of methods to draw formation patterns in the void. Pieces of void stones and divine stones were inserted into the eye of the formation. Soon, a void formation was set up. Yang Wu and Ziyue were shocked by such method. At that moment, Yang Wu was a little convinced that Little Hay was an immortal emperor. Without immortal methods, how could she know so much? "Looks like I still have a long way to go," said Yang Wu. The void formation was connected. Following Little Hay's exclamation, Sky Thunder Mountain entered the void formation. In the blink of an eye, they arrived at a different place. The power of lightning here was boundless. It was rich and filled with all kinds of lightning living beings. "This is the Divine Firmament battlefield?" asked Ziyue. She felt that her power was suppressed. "This is the lightning space of the Divine Firmament battlefield." "Looks like we really entered," said Yang Wu excitedly. "Kid, if you have something to do, do it as soon as possible. I also want to find out what's going on here." "We'll meet again here in a year," said Little Hay hurriedly. "Little Hay, you're not with us?" "Woof, woof. If I don't give you some space, I'm afraid you'll be bored to death. I'm going." Little Hay left as soon as she said that. She directly controlled Sky Thunder Mountain and moved horizontally. Sky Thunder Mountain had already been modified by her. It could change its size. Now it was only the size of a small hill. With the divine array isolating it, other living beings would not be able to discover its existence. Yang Wu and Ziyue smiled at each other and hugged each other. Not long after, they walked in the lightning space, found a quiet place, and entered the tender period of the two people's world. A few days later, Ziyue, who had been nourished again, looked even more beautiful. She was like a flower after the rain, beautiful and unparalleled. "Wife, don't be in such a hurry to go out. It's such a good time to discuss the true meaning of life. It's such a wonderful thing." "I can't. Husband, I feel a little tired. It's not suitable to continue discussing. We still have many things to do." "What do you want to do? What is more meaningful than discussing life?" "Stop fooling around. I'm yours for the rest of my life. I'll also be by your side in the future. It's good that you don't find me annoying. Don't think too much. In the future, we'll reach the true God stage together and enter the immortal stage. We'll be a happy immortal couple. Then let's occupy the best grotto heaven and explore life properly. TSK. Wife, you've become naughty." The lightning space was fraught with danger, but it wasn't all that dangerous for powerhouses at Yang Wu's level. Especially since they all cultivated the power of lightning, it was relatively safe. They didn't linger for too long and headed for the Lightning Sea. It was here that Yang Wu had obtained a connate lightning fetus and been chased into the Lightning Sea by a lightning serpent. The memory was still vivid in his mind. When they arrived, Yang Wu took out the Big Dipper sword. Emperor Jinwu, I'm going to rescue your former subordinates. If you can still sense me, please hurry and offer yourself. He was finally going to face the Emperor head-on. As he poured his power into it, the Big Dipper sword reacted and an image quietly appeared in front of him. It was an imposing figure that looked a bit like him. It's good that you've returned to this place. You're not my reincarnation, but my brother. Chapter 1706. Yang Wu didn't know what Great Emperor Zhen Wu meant. His mind was buzzing. The next moment, Great Emperor Zhen Wu's shadow touched the Big Dipper sword. A black tortoise appeared. That was the Big Dipper sword's weapon spirit. It had always been there. Old friend, let's fight again. Great Emperor Zhen Wu held the Big Dipper sword and raised his hand to stab at the void. Swoosh! A terrifying sword aura broke through the layers of void. It passed through countless dimensions and landed on the Void Worm outside the Divine Firmament battlefield. The Void Worm opened its eyes instantly. A black hole appeared in front of it and enveloped the sword. It wanted to devour the power of the sword. Roar! The sword aura turned into a real black tortoise and crashed into the black hole. It instantly shattered the black hole and continued toward the Void Worm. How dare you destroy a restricted area? The Void Bug shouted in the human language. The boundless power of the void crushed down, and large areas of space collapsed, crushing the black tortoise. The terrifying power kept colliding, scaring the living beings in the Divine Firmament battlefield. What's going on? Is the sky falling? Why do I feel like I can use my power? Is the world changing? Is it going to be completely destroyed? Call the emissary, call the emissary. He might know what's going on. Little Hay, who had run off somewhere, also sensed the commotion. Its eyes lit up. It looked through the void and shouted, "Is Great Emperor Zhen Wu going to destroy the battlefield? Won't he alert the enemy?" Yang Wu didn't expect to cause such a huge commotion. He only hoped that Great Emperor Zhen Wu would call for his former subordinate. If there was a chance, he would help bring them out of here. Who knew that Great Emperor Zhen Wu would cause such a huge mess? The Big Dipper sword flew out of the battlefield and slashed at the Void Worm. You've absorbed the elites of the human race and made them your slaves. You deserve to die. Great Emperor Zhen Wu shouted angrily. Tens of thousands of sword rays shot toward the Void Worm in a frenzy. The Void Worm shouted angrily, "Zhen Wu, you are just a dead man. How dare you be so arrogant here? Unless your real body can come, you can't save your old subordinate." The boundless void surged violently as a terrifying force swept towards the true God Great Emperor. This kind of battle that surpassed the true God realm was too terrifying. It was simply about to shatter a large area of space completely. Yang Wu did not understand why Great Emperor Jinwu's will was so strong. The last time he had come to the Divine Firmament battlefield, he had not seen such a big reaction. All the dimensions in the Divine Firmament battlefield were shaking. The living beings there were all frightened. Some creatures were incomparably excited. For example, the Lightning Turtle tribe in the Lightning Space was one of the 4 great tribes of the past. The Lightning Turtle clan mainly consisted of Lightning Flood Dragons and Lightning Snake. They lived in the Lightning Sea, and there weren't many of them left. Their reproduction speed was too slow, and as the God-rank Lightning Turtles gradually died of old age, the Lightning Turtles began to lack in numbers. They gradually forgot that they were Great Emperor Jinwu's old subordinates' memories. When Great Emperor Jinwu attacked, the memories in their bloodlines were all awakened. "Great Emperor, is the Great Emperor finally coming to take us out?" An old lightning turtle said with tears streaming down his face. "We are almost extinct, and he only came to take us out now. What's the point?" Another lightning turtle complained. "We are all used to staying here. It doesn't matter whether we go out or not. Also, going out might be a dead end." In another direction, in the storm space, The wind spirit living beings that Yang Wu had once helped to settle down also felt great Emperor Jinwu's aura. Their bloodline memories were also awakening. The great Emperor is here. Is he really coming this time? The Wind Spirit Clan leader said excitedly. It's not that easy. Perhaps it's just a bit of torment. No one wants our race to leave this place. Why don't we just thank Lord Yang Wu? If it weren't for him, we wouldn't have been able to come here, and we wouldn't have been able to improve so quickly, said another wind spirit. Let's wait and see. The commotion this time is too big. It's too scary. Our wind spirit clan still needs 100 years to recover and become stronger. There were movements in the dark space and the light space. There were living beings in both places. They were all great Emperor Jinwu's old subordinates. Lightning, light, darkness, and wind spirits represented different powers. They all had different powers and were once famous and powerful races in the god realm. Apart from them, the living beings in the various cities were panicking. Most of them were saints. Not many of them had stepped into the god realm. They did not feel safe at all in the face of such turmoil. However, they could no longer do whatever they wanted. Everything depended on the final direction of this battle. The Void Worm became stronger with the help of the power of the Void. Could use unlimited Void techniques at will. Great Emperor Jinwu's was only a phantom, and the Big Dipper Sword's level was not too high. Could not support him for too long. Jinwu, this is only a bit of your willpower. How can you fight me? You will never be able to save your old subordinates, the Void Worm shouted proudly. As Jinwu's power became weaker, it became more and more rampant. Before this, I was cultivating in seclusion. Now that I've come out, I will take back everything I've lost. You will be the first to be killed. Jinwu said faintly. Billions of light years away, a power suddenly projected and poured into his phantom body. Jinwu suddenly became real. A powerful aura spread out from his body. In an instant, he became a giant. The Big Dipper sword in his hand also became bigger. He slashed down. The power of the sword broke through all the bindings of the void space and fell directly on the Void Worm. The Void Worm saw the cold light of the sword fall and screamed, "You! How are you still alive? How is this possible?" The Void Worm wanted to escape through the void. Unfortunately, it had been locked down by Jinwu's power. It could not escape at all. It was drowned by the sword light. The void twisted and cracked continuously. Layers and layers of void undercurrents appeared. The destructive power was incomparably terrifying. The shackles of the divine firmament battlefield were also broken at this moment. An endless stream of external power poured into the battlefield, causing a shocking change in an instant. This was originally an independent battlefield site. It was also a transit station for the human realm, demon realm, monster realm, and ghost realm to the divine world. It was a place to train the living beings of the lower world. It was controlled by the Void Worm, causing the living beings from this transit station to be sucked into the Void Palace. It affected the structure of the divine world imperceptibly. Now there were finally changes again. Without the restrictions set by the Void Worm, the divine firmament battlefield was still the divine firmament battlefield. However, there were no longer any restrictions. There was also no need to cultivate the void tempering technique. They could use their own cultivation techniques to cultivate here. The living beings here all felt the changes. Every one of them became very excited. Some of the living beings broke through consecutively. Not only did they recover their original cultivation level, but after many years of cultivation, their cultivation level rose to another level. There were many powerful beings at the divine firmament. After the Void Worm was killed, another power projection descended. A huge black palm with a terrifying devouring power enveloped the world. It was going to devour everything in this world. This was the Void Hole technique. Jinwu, back then I chased you everywhere and forced you into a dead end. I thought you were dead for sure. I didn't expect you to be so lucky. You even dared to ruin my master's great plan. You deserve to die, a terrifying voice exclaimed. All the living beings heard it clearly. A real man doesn't boast about his past glory. Back then, I was young and aggressive. Now let's try again. Zhenwu let out a long laugh. Another sword light shone down on the 14 continent. It broke through layers of space and landed on the void hole. Rumble, rumble. The earth-shattering power kept exploding. The world seemed to be repeating endlessly. All the living beings felt extremely uncomfortable. Some of the weaker ones were even directly shaken to death. Zhenwu, Great Emperor, wanted to protect the living beings on the divine firmament battlefield, but he was powerless. After all, this wasn't his real body. The collision of the two great immortal powers affected a large area of the void. More power entered the void and disappeared. After a long time, the battle finally ended. Zhenwu, if you have the guts, continue to hide. From today onwards, all the tales you left behind will be wiped out. You won't have such a chance. I've already returned. Tell your master to wash up and wait for me to slaughter him. After the world calmed down, many living beings still didn't come to their senses for a long time. It was as if they sensed that an even more terrifying world was waiting for them. They were as insignificant as ants that could be easily annihilated. The halo that had once been above their heads was now so fragile. This was an epic-level battle. When would they ever be able to compare to an epic-level creature? Little Hay didn't care about these things. It directly burrowed into the danger zone here to look for various opportunities. It was also looking for the location of the void formation. It had many things to do. It was no longer the little hay dog that had accompanied Yang Wu back then. Yang Wu and Ziyu also didn't come to their senses for a long time. It wasn't until Zhenwu landed in front of them that they recovered from the battle. The restrictions here are gone. I've also returned. You should quickly return too. Zhenwu looked at Yang Wu and said faintly, Perhaps you still have many questions, but you'll know the whole story soon. I'm not you, you're not me. You're yourself. You're my brother, the #1 war god of the celestial world. I'll wait for your mighty return in the celestial world. With that, Zhenwu entered the lightning space with the Big Dipper sword and took the lightning turtle race away. Then he went to the Wind Spirit Race's territory and took the Wind Spirit Race away. After that, he went to the dark and light spaces respectively and took away all his old subordinate. He had let them down and had to leave a spark for them. Chapter 1707. The Big Dipper sword left. So did Great Emperor Zhenwu. This time, Yang Wu finally erased the grudge he had with Great Emperor Zhenwu. However, he didn't quite understand what the other party meant. #1 war god of the immortal world? Was he talking about him? Was he really that outstanding? If so, he didn't mind doing it once. Right now, he was only a small fake god that could be easily manipulated by a true god. You, do you know what he means? You are the #1 war god. Do you think so? Yes. Since my wife says so, then I am. Yang Wu's fighting spirit soared. His thoughts were completely clear. His entire body was surrounded by immortal energy, as if he was the son of an immortal who had descended to the mortal world. Ziyu held his hand and also circulated her immortal energy. She also had an immortal root and an immortal body. The two of them held hands and headed towards the ancient city. Once, Yang Wu killed the Void Envoy here and fled pathetically, leaving Wu Marquis Camp behind. Who knew how they were doing? Wu Marquis Camp was formed from the Empress Camp and took in the other camps to become the #1 camp in the ancient city. Unfortunately, after Yang Wu left, Wu Marquis Camp was faced with a great crisis. The Void Envoy directly punished Wu Marquis Camp by dispersing all of its members and letting the other camps divide them. If it wasn't for the fact that the people here were more important, he would have killed them all without leaving a single one alive. After Yang Wu and Ziyu entered the ancient city, they attracted a lot of attention. I haven't been back for about 20 years. Everything has changed. Yang Wu lamented as he looked at the scene. Even though he had only been in the ancient city for a short time, his memory was very deep. It had been a long time, but some people could still recognize Yang Wu. However, they weren't sure if it was Yang Wu. Back then, Yang Wu challenged the leaders of the various camps. His glory was still vivid in their minds. That guy looks familiar. I feel like I've seen him somewhere before. That purple-haired woman is so beautiful. She's definitely the most beautiful woman I've seen in so many years. She's much more beautiful than Majaya. It's a pity that Majaya has become a thing of the past. The Empress Battalion is also a thing of the past. By the way, I remember who he is. He is the second leader of the Empress Battalion, Yang Wu. It can't be him, right? The guy who changed the name of the Empress Battalion to the Marquis Battalion, the guy who even dared to kill the Void Envoys is back? Could it be that due to the changes in the world, even he is no longer afraid of the Void Envoys? Finally, someone recognized Yang Wu. Most of the people here had been suppressed at the Saint Plane, and it was too difficult for them to break through to the Jade Moon Plane. Even though the world had changed, only a portion of them could break through in a short period of time, and some still needed time to adapt. Yang Wu reached out his hand and grabbed the person who had just spoken. He asked, "Speak, what happened to Majaya?" Majaya used to be the commander of the Empress Battalion. When Du Xiaojing wasn't in charge of the Empress Battalion, she was basically in charge until Yang Wu appeared. She was executed by the Void Envoys, the person answered nervously. And what about the Marquis Battalion? Yang Wu asked again, eyes red with anger. The person was so suppressed by Yang Wu's aura that he couldn't breathe. He stuttered, some died. Some were sent to the other battalions. Yang Wu's heart clenched. He tossed the person aside and shouted, "Void Envoys, get the hell out here!" At this moment, Yang Wu really wanted to kill the Void Envoys to vent his anger. He'd founded the Marquis Battalion, and he'd wanted to take them away and become his subordinates. Now it seemed that they'd been greatly implicated because of him. Who dares challenge the Envoy's authority here? Do you want to die? A heavenly king shouted in shock. That person had already broken through to the Jade Moon realm, and his aura was at its peak. However, as soon as such a person flew out, Yang Wu didn't even ask for his name. He directly reached out and slapped him into a pool of blood. Bang! With a loud bang, he was destroyed and killed. Everyone in the surroundings was scared out of their wit. Such a god-tier powerhouse could do whatever he wanted on the battlefield. But he was killed by Yang Wu in one move? 20 years ago, Yang Wu could kill the Void Envoys, but that was with the help of various divine weapons and trump cards. 20 years had passed, and he'd become so powerful? How could they have known that Yang Wu had already gone to the God realm? His return wasn't achieved by cultivating in this space. After Yang Wu slapped a god-tier powerhouse to death, the other god-tier powerhouses who wanted to show themselves didn't dare to appear. This was a powerhouse they couldn't afford to offend. They could only wait for the Void Envoys to descend. The Void Envoys didn't appear immediately. He had also encountered some trouble. The connection between the ancient Void Palace and the other realms had been cut off. This meant that the battle outside was directly related to the higher-ups above him. This meant that his support had been cut off. He was incomparably terrified. "Void God, you won't lose. You won't lose. Come quickly, the Void Envoys prayed. The Void Envoy's combat power was only at the mid-tier god tier. Even if he had the advantage here and could fight against high-level or top-tier beings, it didn't mean that he was at ease. Would someone who could even kill the Void God suddenly attack him? When Yang Wu's voice sounded, he panicked. The boy who had defeated him 20 years ago had returned? Does this have something to do with him? The Void Envoys couldn't help but wonder. Rumble. Suddenly, a power fell directly on the ancient Void Palace, wanting to destroy it. Yang Wu made his move. The death of Mi Jia, Fei Qing, and Fei Ye was a big blow to him. Even though he hadn't spent much time with them, they were implicated because of him. He had to avenge them. He had once fled here in a sorry state. Now, he wanted to destroy the ruling power here. He couldn't be compared to great Emperor Jinwu, who had directly cut off the root of this place. However, he could still make some contributions. The Void Envoys rushed out of the ancient palace and shouted, "How dare you challenge the Void Envoy's authority? Everyone, take this traitor down. I can give you the complete void tempering technique." The temptation was quite strong. The beings here all needed the void tempering technique to cultivate again. You still need the void tempering technique to cultivate? You still don't understand the situation. Yang Wu said coldly. The others were indifferent. Instead, they retreated far away and didn't get involved in the battle. Yang Wu's strength was beyond their understanding. Perhaps the Void Envoys were in big trouble this time. You again, kid. I won't let you go this time. The Void Envoys shouted and attacked Yang Wu from a distance. The Void Envoys cultivated the Void Envoys, so their combat power was still very strong. They attacked Yang Wu from a distance. This kind of mysterious method could be said to be unique in the Divine Firmament battlefield. Unfortunately, this move didn't even touch Yang Wu's hair. Yang Wu had appeared in front of him and grabbed his throat. He was like a dead dog, unable to resist at all. Now that Yang Wu's strength had reached the 4th level of the Jade Moon Realm, his combat power was so terrifying that even the top Immortal State warriors were afraid of him. How could the Void Envoys be a match for him? Puppet of the Void Envoys, leaving you alive is just a disaster. Go in peace. Yang Wu didn't waste time talking nonsense with the Void Envoys. His palm spat out a terrifying flame and directly burned the Void Envoys to ashes. Without the support of the Void Envoys panicked and was killed by Yang Wu just like that. The surrounding people were completely stunned when they saw this scene. They were all humans from the human world and had seen some god-level creatures, even overlords. However, they had never seen anyone as domineering as Yang Wu. 20 years ago, he wasn't so powerful. Now, he only needed one move to kill the Void Envoys. How terrifying was that? After Yang Wu killed the Void Envoys, he directly stepped into the ancient palace. There used to be many good things in this ancient palace. He wanted to see if he could plunder them. Yu also followed in. The others didn't dare to move. They were still watching from afar. In the ancient palace, starlight floated above the main hall. They were all good things that could only be exchanged with contribution points. Yang Wu directly reached out his hand and grabbed. He wanted to tear open the restriction here and see if there were any good things left here. The divine objects and holy objects that were contributed by so many people in the ancient city were all good things. They were immeasurable wealth. He definitely wouldn't let them go. The void worms were all killed. This place became a place where no one cared about it. When Yang Wu's power landed on the restriction above the ancient palace, it was isolated. The restriction's power condensed into a river of qi, trapping all the heaven and earth treasures there. Even Yang Wu couldn't tear this river of qi apart. Yu said from the side, "Let me try." After saying that, she directly opened her mouth, and a thunder tongue and lightning sword slashed towards the river of qi. This wasn't the ordinary power of thunder and lightning. It was the chaos divine thunder. The incomparably terrifying thunder tongue and lightning sword was her talent. Boom! There was a shocking explosion, but it didn't cause any damage to the river of qi. This isn't enough. Let's work together and use the immortal weapon. Yang Wu suggested to Yu. Then come. Yu laughed. She worked together with Yang Wu to activate the Thunder Hammer and Lightning Fork. The two immortal weapons, under the activation of their god power, could unleash a lot of power. They directly hit the river of qi and the terrifying restriction exploded. The river of qi completely collapsed. It was a space of Qiankuan. Inside, heaven and earth treasures fell out. All the things here were collected by the humans who lived here over the years. These heaven and earth treasures were incomparably precious in the eyes of many people. However, in the eyes of immortal realm creatures, they were low-level items. To true God realm creatures, they weren't that precious. Most of them were heaven and earth treasures below true God realm. Yang Wu waved his hand and took all these things away. Haha, after so many years, it's a bargain for us. Chapter 1708. There were countless treasures in the ancient Void Palace. For example, there were demonic black fog pearls, heavenly thunderstones, demonic horn rings, and even the 9-colored divine flower, which were all difficult to find in the outside world. Even in the realm of the gods, they could only be bought at a high price. In addition to these treasures, there were also holy veins hanging upside down like rivers. There were also holy veins, which were the contributions of the humans who had come here for countless years. They were all taken by Yang Wu and Ziyuyu. In addition, there were also some absolute arts of the ancient Void Palace. These absolute arts were incomplete and had loopholes. They did not take them, for fear that the terrifying creatures would sense them. After everything was done and they left the main hall, many people surrounded them. Some bold people asked, Lord Yang Wu, what happened here? From now on, there will be no more Void Envoys. Everyone will have to cultivate the Void Tempering technique to continue to become stronger. This secret technique has many drawbacks, so everyone should consider it carefully. From now on, you are free. You will no longer have to pay tribute to the ancient Void Palace. They will all belong to you, Yang Wu announced. This isn't a dream, right? Do the Void Envoys really not exist anymore? That's great, that's great. Please be our city lord, Lord Yang Wu. We will support you. Without the Void Envoys, we will probably be attacked by other creatures. We really need a leader. Lord Yang Wu, please look after us. Without the ancient Void Palace, how will we go to the realm of the gods? How will we return to the original realm? Will the situation be worse than before? Indeed, as they said, without the Void Envoys, other foreign races would probably invade. The survival of the human race would be a big problem. In addition, where was the passage to the realm of the gods and back? This was a big problem. Yang Wu did not expect these people to throw these questions at him. He did not want to care. With little Hay here, he could come and go as he pleased. Why should he waste time here with them? Before he could say anything, Ziyuyu spoke up for Yang Wu. If you're really willing to respect my husband, we'll solve these problems for you. If you want to go to the God realm, you can go back if you want. As long as I can go to the God realm, I'm willing to acknowledge Lord Yang Wu as my leader, someone replied. I'm willing as well. Lord Yang Wu's strength is outstanding. Why don't you lead us? Someone else said. At this moment, everyone began to speak. They didn't want to waste their lives here. It was too important for them to have someone who could lead them. Of course, they didn't want to be Yang Wu's subordinates for the rest of their lives. They only wanted to be like how they had been in the past. Once they reached the God realm, they would be able to break free from Yang Wu's shadow. Yang Wu looked at Ziyuyu in surprise. He didn't expect her to take on such a huge burden for him. Could she do it? Yang Wu comforted them and asked them to leave. He returned to the ancient palace with Ziyuyu. He asked, Yu, do you have any ideas? Husband, haven't you always wanted to develop a force? I feel that this is the best opportunity, and these people are the best foundation. Ziyue's eyes flashed with a strong ambition as she spoke. You mean we should tie them to our side? That's right. But what ability do we have? They only want to go to the God realm. Once they're there, why would they listen to us? That's easy to solve. Listen to me. Ziyuyu came up with a very good idea. The Divine Firmament battlefield was now a space where no one cared about. It was the time to wantonly recruit new blood. The Void Worm had been killed, and the higher-ups wouldn't send any powerful beings over in the short term. This was the best time for Yang Wu. If it was just the two of them, of course, they wouldn't be able to do much. Fortunately, they had the omnipotent little Hay by their side. With it, setting up restrictions, isolating heaven's secrets, and opening up the void formation was not a problem at all. During this period, they still had many things to do. For example, Yang Wu's alchemy skills had to be put to use. This was the best way to win over people's hearts. With so many people, it was impossible to get all of them to be loyal. If they could get 1/3 of them to join their forces and rope them all to the God realm, it would definitely be a great help for them in the future. When these people grew up one by one and had a true God supporting them, they would also become a powerful force. This idea instantly ignited the raging fire in Yang Wu's heart. He hugged Ziyue and kissed her on the cheek. "You are indeed worthy of being my good wife. This method is too good. You're so naughty. You're taking advantage of me." Ziyue blushed slightly. As soon as she finished speaking, Yang Wu kissed Ziyue again. He loved to see her blush and her smile. Those shallow dimples were really beautiful. With this idea in mind, Yang Wu once again appeared in front of all the people in the ancient city. There were roughly 100,000 people here. He was like a god descending from the heavens. "This young master will take over this city. Those who don't want to stay can immediately leave. Those who don't want to can also speak up. The void envoys have already become souls under my hands. You can also try to challenge my dignity. I won't ask you to do anything. Instead, I'll provide you with convenience. As long as you're willing to submit to my Wuho gang, you can obtain saint pills, god pills, and become a true god. If you're not willing to submit to my Wuho gang, you can take out enough contribution points and go to the god realm. You can also return to where you came from. But no matter what, as long as you're in the city, you have to listen to me, Yang Wu, or you'll be killed." The strong didn't need to talk too much. Everything was based on strength. The true god realm power he emitted was quite terrifying. It suppressed most of the people here to the point that they couldn't raise their head. Most of these people were still in the Saint realm. Only a small portion of them had broken through to the Jade Moon realm. Moreover, they were new Jade Moon realm cultivators. They couldn't compare to Yang Wu at all. "I'm willing to join Wuho gang. I'm willing to join Wuho gang." Many people didn't have a choice. Yang Wu's strength was obvious to all. If they didn't join Wuho gang, they probably wouldn't get any benefits. While they were talking, half of the people joined Wuho gang. Half of them hadn't thought it through yet. There was also a portion that directly left the ancient city to find their own opportunities. They hoped that one day they could surpass Yang Wu. No one dared to provoke Yang Wu. This was a wise decision. These people who came here all came from the human realm. They were all geniuses. Not many of them were willing to submit to others. All they wanted was a stable period of time. A real man knows when to yield and when to stand tall. Yang Wu picked out a few capable people from the people who submitted. They were all Heavenly King realm experts. One of them was nameless Sky Sword, the leader of the Sky Sword camp. Many years had passed, but he still hadn't made any progress. He hadn't taken the step of Heavenly King realm, but his sword techniques could kill true gods. It was a pity that Sky Sword had spent his whole life practicing the sword. He had walked his own path of the sword, but he still hadn't broken through. It was because his sword heart was covered in dust. Once, Yang Wu challenged their leaders and even killed the Void Envoys. Sky Sword lost all his courage in front of Yang Wu. Thus, there was Sky Sword who was covered in dust. On this day, Yang Wu summoned Sky Sword again and said to him, "It doesn't matter if your sword heart is covered in dust. As long as the sword is still here, it can break through the layers of fog." In the next moment, he pointed his finger and a sword light slashed towards Sky Sword. Sky Sword didn't have the slightest ability to block it. He could only watch as the sword fell towards him. The dust in his heart scattered. A sword light broke through the air. Even if it was weak, he still dared to pick up the sword. The sword broke the dust, and the sword heart was reformed. Nameless Sky Sword's strength rapidly increased. He became a level 2 Jade Moon expert. Chief, from now on, I will be a sword for you. A sword that can kill. Nameless Sky Sword knelt in front of Yang Wu and said solemnly. Yang Wu was very satisfied and said to him, I will make you the strongest sword in the world. This was a serious promise. Other than Nameless Sky Sword, there were a few other god-level life forms that could help him manage the people here. Moreover, Zuu also had strong management skills. With her appearance, these people could be intimidated. He also publicly refined pills in the city. After a cauldron of 5 tribulation divine pills was formed, the people in the city were shocked. Another group of people were willing to join the Marquis gang. The number of people suddenly increased to 70,000. There were many people like this, and all of them had the strength of a saint. Moreover, most of them were at the peak of the saint realm. There were even some that were half a step into the heavenly realm. If they all broke through to become god-level life forms, how terrifying would their numbers be? These were all fresh troops from the human realm. Most of them were in Yang Wu's hands. Yang Wu instantly understood why the Void Palace cared so much about these people. Even if they came from the human realm, didn't the human race of the god realm also come from the human realm to the god realm? Thinking about it again, how many people had the Void Palace poached from the human realm over the years? It would probably be a terrifying number. Yang Wu felt that the Void Palace would definitely not let this matter rest. He had to quickly summon Little Hay back. He and Little Hay were in the same space. The connection between them was very obvious. After he called out, Little Hay hurried back. Little Wu Zi, why did you call this immortal emperor back in such a hurry? This immortal emperor just found a ruin. There are many good things that I didn't have time to take away. Little Hay said. Little Hay, we might be in big trouble. Yang Wu said seriously. Then, he told Little Hay about Zhen Wu's appearance. As expected, Lord Zhen Wu has returned. This is really fun. Little Hay sighed excitedly. Then, it said, this void space is located in a very special place. There were once immortal-level life forms that interfered. Now it's not easy to isolate it. Fortunately, Lord Zhen Wu has returned. The higher-ups probably won't be able to interfere anymore. This is indeed a very good opportunity. It's time to get down to business. This immortal emperor will take over this battlefield. Chapter 1709. The battlefield of divine clouds was a special place. Some said it was an ancient relic, or a world separated from the human world. Some said it was a forbidden space set up by immortals. In reality, it was indeed a special battlefield formed by a terrifying battle between experts. Otherwise, there wouldn't be so many special spaces and so many ruins. After Little Hay arrived, it was determined to transform this world. It was not something that could be done in a year or two. It needed to increase its strength. The higher its cultivation level, the more powerful its abilities would be. Its strength was related to Yang Wu. The faster Yang Wu improved, the faster its power would be unsealed. This was the first time Yang Wu had heard Little Hay say this, and he was very puzzled. Back in the mountain prison, you were the one who rescued this immortal emperor from the seal. My fate is linked to yours. The faster you improve, the faster I will be able to unseal myself. Right now, your strength is comparable to that of an ordinary false god, while my strength is limited. By the time you are able to deal with true gods, I will also be able to deal with true gods. Even though your speed of improvement seems to be very fast, it is still far from the limit. You still have room for improvement, Little Hay said seriously. I have already gathered 7 types of mysterious essence chi. I still need 2 more. One of them is in the Dragon Phoenix abyss of the transcendent realm. It leads to an unknown spatial world. Let's go back and get it. I need to increase my strength again. Yang Wu replied. You can't go there for now. That place is too terrifying. It might be related to immortals. Even I don't dare to go there. If you go, you'll just be courting death. Her abilities aren't any weaker than yours, and her cultivation speed isn't any slower than yours either. You should focus on going into seclusion for a few years and raise your realm before returning to the transcendent realm. I'm going to fuse 2 thunder mountains and refine a thunder seal. It'll be of great use. Little He had become swift and decisive, not giving Yang Wu much choice as it directly forced him to cultivate. Yang Wu could sense Little He's determination, and he didn't dare to disobey her. He really did need to improve his cultivation level. When he met Yang Wen also said that there would be a great calamity of heaven and earth, and that the best way to do it was to improve his strength as soon as possible. Thus, Yang Wu entered a state of seclusion and left everything else to Little He and Yu Yu. Little He was omnipotent. It could get whatever the people of Ancient City wanted. Yu Yu's power was enough to crush those people, and her methods were not to be underestimated as well. To make those people from Wu Ho clan obedient was not a problem at all. It was impossible for Yu to take care of everything personally. She controlled the strongest few and let them do their work. She spent the rest of her time cultivating and raising her fighting strength. Little He didn't mistreat Yu. She collected a lot of good divine items and refined them into top-grade divine liquid for Yu. It was a top-grade item for tempering one's body. She had a celestial foundation and often absorbed the power of lightning to temper her body. However, it also left behind some undetectable hidden injuries. These divine liquids could help her get rid of these hidden injuries and help her become even more perfect. Little He didn't need to worry about Yang Wu. He was already a 6th tribulation divine apothecary and had countless pill recipes. He could concoct divine liquids that were most suitable for him. Little He set up a chi-gathering divine formation in the ancient palace to help the two of them have enough energy to cultivate. The Xian Qi of heaven and earth in this space was still not comparable to the immortal realm. However, with the chi-gathering divine formation, they could still gather the energy of this space, which was enough for the two of them to cultivate. In the seclusion room, Yang Wu fully activated the Supreme 9 Profound Arts and entered a state of one-sided absorption of the Xian Qi of heaven and earth. He was like a devouring beast. Vast amounts of Xian Qi of heaven and earth madly entered his dantian and poured into it, increasing his strength. His dantian was like a vast ocean that could hold hundreds of rivers. He needed to accumulate too much energy and couldn't fill it up in a short period of time. He was multitasking. At the same time, he was also cultivating the power of his soul. The Soul Mastery Heart Sutra and the Soul Mantra were both immortal technique. When cultivated to the extreme, they would provide extraordinary improvements. Cultivation wasn't just about cultivating the body. It was also about cultivating the soul. Only by cultivating both at the same time could one improve rapidly. Yang Wu was multitasking. Not only did his cultivation not slow down, it actually sped up. The energy of heaven and earth in this space all entered his body. It was like a bottomless pit that couldn't be filled. The Jade Moon realm still absorbed the energy of the stars. In this empty space, the stars weren't visible. It wasn't easy to absorb the energy of the stars. Fortunately, Yang Wu had divine veins. These were the cornerstones to replenish his energy. In his Qianquan space, the divine veins were directly refined. Every wisp of pure energy nourished every corner of his body. Not only did his dantian need energy, but every acupoint also needed energy. And the energy required was very large. It wasn't easy to accumulate energy to the next level. Cultivation was endless. This time, Yang Wu had been in seclusion for more than 10 years. In these 10 years, Little He had rearranged the divine firmament battlefield. It created an independent space that could only be entered but not exited. Not only that, but it had also found the void path back to the Transcendence world. As long as Yang Wu came out of seclusion, it could return to the Transcendence world with him at any time. In these 10 years, Yu Yu's reputation as the wife of the Martial Marquis gang's leader was unparalleled. When some demons heard that the human Void Envoy had been killed, they instigated the other race's divine firmament beings to come and cause trouble. In the end, Zuu came out of seclusion with a divine lightning sword and killed them all as if they were vegetables. Only then did these divine firmament beings know how terrifying the wife of the gang leader was. In addition, Zuu announced many rules, turning the ancient human city into a private territory. Whoever contributed enough could exchange for divine pills. In this independent space, divine pills were the rarest. It was very important for them to break through to the divine firmament realm. Many humans desperately searched for all kinds of resources to exchange for Martial Marquis Gang's divine pills. Only those who joined the Martial Marquis Gang had the right to exchange for them. Not just anyone could exchange for them. Originally, there was a group of people who were unwilling to join the Martial Marquis Gang. Now they obediently joined. The Martial Marquis Gang recruited almost 90% of the people in the ancient city. This was a very powerful force. In these 10 years, there were people who obtained divine pills one after another. They were able to enter the divine firmament realm, or had some improvement in the divine firmament realm. Also, Little Hay opened up a body-tempering divine pool. It was also a reward no less than divine pills. As long as one was loyal to the Martial Marquis Gang, they would have the chance to enter the body-tempering divine pool to temper their body and soul. At this moment, the people of the Martial Marquis Gang revealed a crazed look. Who didn't want to become stronger? Only by becoming stronger could one's lifespan be longer. It was because of these benefits that the Martial Marquis Gang became more and more cohesive. After all, they went to the divine firmament to become stronger. If they could become stronger in this special place, wouldn't they have more confidence in going to the divine firmament in the future? Today, the Martial Marquis Gang had established their own team. The Nameless Sky Sword Group had a sword cultivator team, called Swordsmen. A team of people who were willing to risk their lives for the Martial Marquis Gang. They were also the members of the Martial Marquis Gang's disciplinary hall. Outside the disciplinary hall, there were two teams called Dragon Hall and Tiger Hall. They were mainly in charge of searching for all kinds of heaven and earth treasures. There was also a team called Black Tortoise Hall. There was also a team called Phoenix Hall that was in charge of protecting the gang leader and his wife at all times. This was a temporary team. The strength of each hall leader was one of the best in the Martial Marquis Gang. And this ancient human city was renamed to Martial Marquis City. The Dragon Hall leader was called Ji Chenglong. He was an expert from the Heaven Martial realm. After this world was no longer restricted, his strength soared and reached the 3rd level of the Jade Moon realm. The Tiger Hall leader was called Lin Baihu. He was an expert from the Human King realm. His strength was not inferior to Ji Chenglong. The Black Tortoise Hall leader was from the Shattered Star realm. His name was Xianichen. He specialized in the power of water. The Phoenix Hall leader was called Zhu Honghong. She did not come from a high-level realm. Instead, she came from a low-level realm like the Transcendent realm. Her realm was the lowest among the 4 hall leaders. However, her battle strength was not inferior to the other 3 hall leaders. She was the first to rely on Zuu and became Zuu's trusted aide. These 4 hall leaders all had to listen to Zuu's orders. No one dared to go against them. These 4 hall leaders all had their own ambitions. They were not masters who would submit easily. They kept asking about when they could go to the divine firmament. If not for Zuu suppressing them, they would have scattered long ago. On this day, in the Martial Marquis Hall, the Dragon Hall leader and the Tiger Hall leader once again asked Zuu about going to the divine firmament. Madam, the Dragon Hall has completed many missions in the past 10 years. Although we have lost some brothers and sisters, we have also made many contributions. I wonder if you can give me the opportunity to go to the God world? Ji Chenglong asked. This was a man who looked to be in his early 30s. He wore dragon armor and looked very spirited. Beside him, Lin Baihu, the head of the Tiger Hall, rubbed his bald head and smiled. That's right. Ever since the Void Emissary died, we have been loyal to the Wuho gang. However, this place is not a complete astral plane, so we are unable to reach a higher realm. Please allow me to go to the celestial plane, Baihu will be very grateful. The two of them had reached the third level of the Jade Moon realm. Their battle prowess was not inferior to a mid-level divine firmament. Asking Zuu together gave them some confidence. Zuu sat in the middle of the throne. Her beautiful eyes revealed traces of purple light. Have you thought it through? Do you really want to leave here and go to the divine firmament? Yes. The two of them said in unison. Good, this place is very far from the divine firmament. As long as you two hand over 10 high-grade divine veins to support your journey to the divine firmament, you can leave. Zuu said straightforwardly. The two of them were stunned. 10 high-grade divine veins? How could they have so much wealth? For 10 years, they had been contributing to the Martial Marquis gang. They also had to cultivate. Where could they find so many divine veins? At this time, a voice sounded. It's not impossible for you to go to the divine firmament for free. Chapter 1710. Yang Wu had come out of seclusion. Ji Chenglong and Lin Baihu both had a trace of panic on their faces. This sect master was a terrifying existence that could directly crush a void envoy to death. After 10 years, his youthful appearance hadn't changed, but his aura had become more and more restrained. It felt like he was a neighborhood boy, completely unable to detect his martial cultivation. However, the more it was like this, the more he felt that this sect master's strength had become extraordinary. I'd better not go to the God realm. I'll listen to sect master's orders. I'm willing to die for you. Lin Qinghu directly knelt down. Ji Chengtian cursed inwardly, useless. However, he himself also lowered his head and said, Greetings, sect master. I'm willing to listen to sect master's orders. The bit of courage he had just mustered was completely gone. It's not impossible for you to go to the God realm, even for free. Don't be afraid. I know you have ambitions, but you still don't know the situation in the God realm. You'll be nothing more than rootless duckweed there. If you're not careful, you might even lose your little life. Yang Wu said faintly, then continued, My wife and I both came from the God realm, so we know the situation there. Furthermore, this sect master has Wuho gang in the Medicine God Hall. If you're willing to be completely loyal to Wuho, I'll definitely take you to the God realm in the future. Let's see if you have the patience. The two didn't dare to have any objections. They were afraid that Yang Wu would directly kill them, so they hurriedly agreed. After the two left, Yang Wu and Zuu hugged each other. In the blink of an eye, they hadn't seen each other for a long time. Husband, what's your cultivation level? Zuu couldn't see through Yang Wu's cultivation level. Yang Wu smiled and replied, I've made some progress and gains. I'm not any worse than you are now. Husband, you've improved so much. Will it affect you? Zuu said with a trace of worry. Originally, her cultivation level was higher than Yang Wu's. Now that Yang Wu had surpassed her, she was afraid that his foundation would be unstable. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Yang Wu replied, and then he asked about the Marquis clan's matters over the years. Zuu explained everything to him one by one so that he had a rough idea of what was going on. Yang Wu didn't finish listening. He pushed Zuu directly onto the bed. After a round of sexual intercourse, he continued to listen to her plan. She did not come up with this plan alone. Little Hay had also given her some suggestions. After listening, Yang Wu pondered for a moment and put forward his own suggestions, forming a new plan. Once the husband and wife had determined the path they wanted to take, they went their separate ways. Zuu continued to stay in the Divine Firmament battlefield, protecting the operations of Wuho gang and increasing their strength. Yang Wu and Little Hay returned to the Transcendent World. First, they would help Little Hay take over Thunder Mountain. Then, they would bring some of the direct descendants over. In the future, they would bring them to the divine firmament and establish Wuho Gang in the divine firmament. In the future, the people in the divine firmament battlefield would be supplemented by Wuho Gang. This would be a very powerful force. Little Hay, is the way back really reliable? When have I ever done anything unreliable? You've done too many unreliable things. Woof woof. Little Wu, you're asking for a bite. After we go back, can we still come back? Can you not doubt this immortal emperor's ability? You were taught by me. In the ancient palace, there were many mysterious void passageways that led to different places. Little Hay had already figured them out. There was a high-level array here that isolated all senses, but it could not block Little Hay's detection. She had found them and determined the directions that led to different places. Looking at the vast void, Yang Wu felt a bout of dizziness. No matter how strong he was right now, he could not help but feel his heart skip a beat in the face of such a complicated void passageway. Such heaven-defying methods were truly not something that any ordinary living being could achieve. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and go. Little Hay urged Yang Wu. I'm a little scared. Yang Wu replied. Bah, such a small trick is nothing. When you become an immortal, you can cross countless void spaces at any time. What's there to be afraid of? Go in, Little Hay said disdainfully. A force fell on Yang Wu and bound him into one of the void passageways. Stellar transposition. Yang Wu followed Little Hay and appeared in another world. Sometimes, Little Hay was unreliable. But when it came to important matters, Little Hay was always reliable. The void passageway sent them to the transcendent realm. They directly landed in the territory of the 4 outer islands. The 4 extraterritorial islands were Eastern Illumination Island, Southern Seal Island, Western Paradise Island, and Northern Demon Island. The boundaries of the 4 extraterritorial islands were not large and their living conditions were quite harsh. However, in such an environment, they were able to produce a group of cultivators with tenacious combat strength. Yang Wu had been to this world before. He was one with the will of the transcendent realm and could go anywhere. Before he went to the immortal realm, he sent white-haired demoness Yunqi to the northern Devil Island, hoping that she could become the island lord. He did not know what happened to the lords of the 4 outer islands. This world is a little familiar. Little Hay murmured. This is the 4 outer islands of the transcendent realm. Yang Wu replied. No, this sea is very familiar. I'll go down and take a look. Call me if there's anything. Little Hay replied and dived down into the sea. Yang Wu did not care about it. After returning to the transcendent realm, he was in an extremely good mood. Once again, he circulated his own luck and sensed the will of the transcendent realm to see if he could still form a connection with it. Soon, the will of the transcendent realm descended upon him. He could feel that the will of the transcendent realm was much stronger than before. However, there was also a hint of rejection towards him. It was not as gentle as before. What happened? Yang Wu murmured. He circulated his own will to communicate with the transcendent realm. Suddenly, he saw all kinds of changes happening in this world. He saw that all living things in the transcendent realm were awakening. All kinds of heavenly treasures were growing rapidly. A large number of sacred objects and divine objects had appeared, causing all kinds of forces to fight over them. It was the same for the 4 outer islands. Many divine objects had appeared in the sea. The forces of the 4 outer islands had all entered the sea to fight for them. Even the overlords of the sea demons in the sea had appeared and started a fierce battle. There were not many people in the 4 outer islands. Although they were strong, they were still not strong enough to fight against the sea demons. The sea was too big and there were too many sea demons. It was difficult to compete with the sea demons for large amounts of resources. The people of the 4 outer islands wanted to unite. The Eastern Sun dynasty of the Eastern Illumination Island was the representative. They wanted to conquer the other 3 outer islands. The Eastern Sun dynasty cultivated the Great Sun Divine Scripture. It was an ancient mystic art. Even in a place near the sea, they could cultivate the power of fire and improve it quickly. This showed how extraordinary they were. In the past 10 years, the Eastern Sun Dynasty had unified the Southern Seal Island and the Western Paradise Island. Now, only the Northern Devil Island had not been conquered. Now, the Eastern Illumination Island had integrated the forces of the other 3 outer islands. They were marching towards the Northern Devil Island, wanting to conquer the Northern Devil Island in one fell swoop. Among the 4 outer islands, the Northern Devil Island was comparable to the Eastern Sun Island in strength. Unfortunately, the Northern Devil Island was not as united as the Eastern Illumination Island. They only realized the danger after the Eastern Sun Dynasty conquered 2 outer islands. However, it was already too late. They could only enter a defensive position and could not become the Eastern Sun Dynasty's subordinate. The Eastern Sun Dynasty did not send many people to attack the Northern Devil Island. There were less than 20 people. Among these 20 people, 10 were deity realm experts from the Eastern Sun Dynasty. The other 10 were from the Southern Seal Island and the Western Paradise Island. Among these 20 people, 5 of them were overlords. Among them, the Eastern Sun retired Emperor was the strongest. He had reached the 11th level of the Jade Moon realm. He was known as the strongest person in the 4 outer islands. The second was Nan Wushuang of the Southern Seal Island. The third was Eastern Sun Murano of the Eastern Sun Island. The fourth was Western Paradise Island's goddess Shi Lu. These 4 overlords were the strongest in the 4 outer islands. There were 2 overlords in the Northern Devil Island. They were the Dark North Old Ancestor and the Devil River Old Ancestor. These 2 were also the archenemies of the Northern Devil Island. They were equally matched in strength and were not afraid of each other. When the other 3 outer islands were pressuring, they led their own troops to meet the other 3 outer islands. Other than these 2 old ancestors, the Northern Devil Island also had many deity realm experts. One of them was the white-haired demoness Yunqi. After Yunqi returned to the Northern Devil Island, she had been cultivating wholeheartedly. After Yang Wu improved her mystic formula, her cultivation speed was extremely fast. Moreover, with the blessing from Yang Wu, she obtained many opportunities in the Northern Devil Island and rose from the Saint Realm to the 3rd level of the Jade Moon Realm. Such strength was not enough to change the situation of the 4 outer islands. However, she unexpectedly obtained an ancient divine weapon, the Northern Devil Divine Sword. The Northern Devil Divine Sword was the divine sword of the number 1 Island Lord of the Northern Devil Island. The Northern Devil Island was named after him. After Yunqi obtained the Northern Devil Divine Sword, she suddenly became a new force to be reckoned with. Even the Dark North Old Ancestor and the Devil River Old Ancestor wanted to snatch the Northern Devil Divine Sword from her. In the end, they were unable to do so and could only allow Yunqi to grow. On this day, a great battle began. The Eastern Sun retired Emperor, Nan Wushuang, Eastern Sun Murano, and Western Sun Empress Shi Lu surrounded the 2 old ancestors. The battle was incomparably intense. The other deity realm experts were also fighting. None of them wanted to give up their own territory to others. Yunqi wielded the Northern Devil Divine Sword and exploded with incomparable strength in this battle. She consecutively killed 2 heaven-reaching realm experts from the other 3 outer islands. An overlord had his eyes on Yunqi and wanted to snatch the Northern Devil Divine Sword from her. He was almost killed by Yunqi instead. However, in this chaotic battle, it was too difficult for Yunqi to remain unscathed. One of her sisters was killed by an overlord and she went to help. In the end, her sister suddenly ambushed her and heavily injured her. The Northern Devil Divine Sword flew out of her hand. An overlord of the Eastern Sun Island held the Northern Devil Divine Sword in his hand and laughed proudly. "Ha! With this divine sword, this sovereign will be invincible under the heavens." The next moment, he looked at Yunqi and shouted with thick killing intent, "I will use you as an offering to the sword." Only with Yun Qi's death could he become the next owner of the Northern Devil Divine Sword. A cold light flashed and the sword aura suddenly descended. "I'm sorry, my lord. I couldn't fulfill your orders. I will take my leave first," Yun Qi thought in despair. However, the sword light did not descend. Chapter 17:11. The War of the Four Islands had been going on for a long time. Today's outbreak was not a coincidence. Yun Qi's good friend, Fang Jinhua, had known her for a few years. They had similar personalities and wanted to do something big together. Who would have thought that Fang Jinhua would attack her at the most critical moment? Fang Jinhua had been recruited by Eastern Illumination Island long ago. She was a key chess piece. After losing the Northern Demonic Divine Sword, Yun Qi lost her most important support and was seriously injured. After the Overlord of Eastern Sun Island took the Divine Sword, he naturally would not let Yun Qi go. Yun Qi carried her lord's orders to the Northern Demonic Island to do something big. In the end, she was going to die here before she could complete it. She was very unwilling. However, she was not killed. The power of the Northern Demonic Divine Sword did not fall. "Who dares to stop me? Do you want to die?" the Overlord of Eastern Sun Island shouted. Just as he finished speaking, a sharp force came down and cut off his arm that was holding the Northern Demonic Divine Sword. Ah! The Overlord of Eastern Sun Island was at the 8th level of the Jade Moon Realm. He did not even have the chance to react before his arm was cut off. How powerful was the attacker? The Northern Demonic Divine Sword fell into the hands of a young man who suddenly appeared. The young man flicked the sword and murmured, "This sword is not bad." The next moment, he appeared beside Yun Qi and said, "You've improved quickly these years. However, you still need to be careful." The young man supported Yun Qi's body. Immortal qi flowed into her body, and her injuries quickly healed. Yun Qi said with tears streaming down her face, "My lord. Don't feel wronged. My lord is here to seek justice for you. Wasn't the young man Yang Wu who just returned?" After saying that, he reached out and grabbed the Overlord whose arm was cut off. This Overlord was like a little chick. He was held in Yang Wu's hand. "You? Who are you?" The Overlord was terrified. He was not the strongest, but he was definitely not someone who could be easily defeated. Right now, he was firmly held in the hands of the other party. He did not even have the strength to move. This young man in front of him was too terrifying. Yang Wu did not reply to him. He said to Yun Qi, "Come, I'll leave him to you." A trace of murderous intent flashed across Yun Qi's eyes, but she quickly looked in another direction. It was her good friend, Fang Jinhua. Fang Jinhua's face turned pale. She turned around and ran away without hesitation. Yun Qi grabbed the Northern Demon God's sword and chased after him, shouting, "I hate people who stab people in the back the most. Die for me." Yun Qi had almost recovered. She shouted and gathered all her power on the Northern Demonic Divine Sword. A terrifying power burst out from the sword and slashed out across the sky. The sky and earth cracked. This was Yun Qi's strongest sword attack. Fang Jinhua's strength was one level lower than Yun Qi's. If it wasn't a sneak attack, she wouldn't have been able to hurt Yun Qi. How could she resist Yun Qi's full-strength sword attack? Bang! As expected, Fang Jinhua was cut into two halves by the sword. Even her soul was torn apart. Even her chance of rebirth was severed. At this moment, the surrounding experts all noticed the change in the situation. Especially when they saw the Overlord in Yang Wu's hand, they were all stunned. This was an Overlord in the heaven-reaching realm. How could it be held in the hands of a young man? "Please let me go. I'm willing to be your slave." This Overlord couldn't muster any strength. He knew that he had encountered a terrifying existence. If he didn't beg for mercy, he wouldn't even have a chance to live. "Are you worthy?" Yang Wu said. The power in his palm burst out and directly turned this Overlord into powder. All the sky-reaching experts were frightened out of their wits, including the retired emperor of the Eastern Sun Dynasty, Nan Wushuang, Old Ancestor Darknorth, and Old Ancestor Mauve. This young man's appearance was too strange. Even they couldn't detect him. He killed an overlord with a single move. His means were too terrifying. You are. The retired emperor of the Eastern Sun Dynasty looked at Yang Wu and asked. Whether he was friend or foe, he had to ask clearly. Yang Wu ignored the retired emperor and looked at Yunqi. The strongest people of the 4 outer islands are all here? Yunqi nodded and said, Yes, my lord. Yang Wu looked at the people here and said faintly, From now on, you will all listen to Yunqi's orders. She will be your master. These words carried a tone that left no room for doubt. Everyone was unhappy when they heard this. They were all famous people who had been famous for many years. Why should they listen to the orders of a little girl? What a joke! Do you really think you're invincible here? An overlord wearing battle armor said coldly. Nan Wushuang also said, You talk big. Aren't you afraid of biting your tongue? First, tell us your background. Empress Shilu also let out a silvery voice. You should be someone who has regained your youth. You want to rely on your own strength to make us listen to this little girl's orders? Take out some real talent and let us take a look at it. It seems that after I left for a few years, my legend has disappeared in the transcendent realm. Yang Wu sighed and walked towards them step by step. Those people were on guard. All of their auras were locked onto Yang Wu. As long as Yang Wu made any strange movements, they would launch a thunderous attack and snipe him. I'll give you all a chance to attack together. You only have one chance. If you can kill me, then take it as me bragging. If you can't, then you're on your own. Yang Wu said indifferently as he walked to the center of these people. Yang Wu didn't plan to kill them, but he wouldn't let them have an easy time either. With half of their bodies destroyed, it was almost impossible for them to continue fighting. The Eastern Sun retired Emperor, Nan Wushuang, and Empress Shilu, these powerful overlords, thought that they didn't fear Yang Wu's doppelganger. When Yang Wu attacked, they still couldn't resist. They were all destroyed by Yang Wu. At best, their fighting strength could only be compared to the high-level God Realm experts of the Divine Realm. Yang Wu could even defeat a martial god of the Divine World and a top-level deity, let alone them. The heaven-reaching realm experts of the Eastern Illumination Island, Southern Seal Island, and Western Joy Island were all heavily injured by Yang Wu alone. Even the Eastern Sun retired Emperor, who resisted, was also destroyed by Yang Wu with a single punch. Old Ancestor Darknorth, Old Ancestor Devil River, and the other heaven-reaching realm experts of the Northern Devil Island were so scared that they pissed their pants. Their strength wasn't even as strong as the Eastern Sun retired Emperor and the others. Yang Wu defeated them all by himself. What kind of terrifying strength was this? Yang Wu didn't kill them. He grabbed the Eastern Sun retired Emperor with one hand and Nan Wushuang with the other. He looked at Old Ancestor Darknorth and Old Ancestor Devil River and said faintly, Have you made your choice? Old Ancestor Darknorth said without hesitation, I'm willing to listen to your orders. Old Ancestor Devil River also lowered his arrogant head and said, I'm willing to listen to your orders. The others didn't dare to have any objections. They all expressed their submission. They were willing to submit on the surface, but they might not obey in their hearts. They had been kings for many years. It was really sullen to be controlled by a stranger. When this was over, they would find a way to hide. You might not be convinced if I take you down like this. Then I'll let you see my strength again. Yang Wu said and threw the Eastern Sun retired Emperor and Nan Wushuang away. He raised a finger and shot it in a direction. Whoosh! The space was broken by the power of the finger, and a figure rushed out from it. It was a white-haired old man. He held an ice staff in his hand and was wrapped in layers of cold air. He looked like an iceman. In fact, he was the former strongest expert of the 4 islands, Old Man Ice Fantasy. Even the Eastern Sun retired Emperor was defeated by him. It was rumored that he had reached the peak of the divine realm and went to the divine realm. Who knew that he hadn't left and was still lurking here? No one could discover his existence. Only Yang Wu could sense him. Old man Ice Fantasy. He didn't go to the divine realm? Old Ancestor Dark North exclaimed. Does this guy want to take advantage of the situation? Old Ancestor Devil River said with a trace of fear. Before Yang Wu could deal with Old Man Ice Fantasy, he did something that no one expected. Chapter 1712. Old Man Ice Fantasy knelt down. The number one person of the 4 islands, a former legend, actually knelt down in front of everyone. Everyone was stunned. What happened to the pride of the number 1 expert? Was he bent just like that? When Old Man Ice Fantasy called out Yang Wu's name, they were all relieved. Ice Fantasy is willing to submit to the Lord, Old Man Ice Fantasy said respectfully, then said, First Saint of the Human Realm, Lord Yang Wu. First Saint of the Human Realm. This name had already shaken the transcendent world more than 20 years ago. Every living being in any region knew of it, and it was the same in the 4 extraterritorial islands. They didn't expect the young man in front of them to be the first saint of the human realm. Now, he was probably not the first saint but the first god. Suddenly, they felt that there was nothing wrong with Old Man Ice Fantasy submitting to such a proud son of heaven. It was even right. This was a god of the transcendent world. He was one with the transcendent world's will and could control the transcendent world. Even if Old Man Ice Fantasy had an incomparably powerful battle strength, he couldn't kill him. Moreover, his strength wasn't inferior to Old Man Ice Fantasy's. It seems that you know me. Then this disaster can be avoided. Yang Wu replied, then said, In the future, you will be Yunqi's personal protector. If these people don't agree, just kill them. When they all obey, you will benefit greatly. Going to the God realm and becoming a true god will be just around the corner. Thank you, Lord. Old Man Ice Fantasy was overjoyed. Yang Wu had once rejected the guardian Deng Sen, who was also a peak ascendant realm existence. At that time, he had just come out of the apocalypse world. Now that he had returned from the god realm and accepted Old Man Ice Fantasy, he didn't feel any pressure at all. The two of them were probably experts of the same level. With Old Man Ice Fantasy helping Yunqi deal with the people here, it should be enough. He wanted the 4 islands to unite and fight against the sea demons. He could obtain more resources and help Yunqi become the number 1 expert of the 4 islands. Yang Wu didn't stay here for too long. Just as he was about to leave and return to the Yang family, he suddenly felt huge waves on the sea, and a shocking sea demon appeared. Not only that, but the 4 islands were also shaking, and the living beings on the islands were all scared out of their wits. Countless creatures flew out from the island, not daring to stay any longer. Those weak creatures could not fly and could only resign themselves to fate. Yang Wu scanned the area with his divine sense, searching for the source of the chaos. He then rushed towards the direction of the largest tsunami. You're actually hiding in this part of the sea? Don't you know that Jinwu has already come out of seclusion? Little Hei's voice rang out in surprise. Its small body was as steady as a rock in the middle of the tsunami and was not affected at all. A gigantic turtle head emerged from the seawater. It was even bigger than an island. Upon closer inspection, its body was shockingly the land of the 4 islands. What a terrifying great black tortoise! Black tortoise! Yang Wu exclaimed. This was the legendary black tortoise, the most powerful being of the Yao clan. It was as powerful as the true dragon, the phoenix and the white tiger. Yang Wu had fused with the will of the transcendent realm, but he still hadn't discovered the existence of this great being. This was enough to show just how powerful this great being's cultivation level was. Master has come out of seclusion? Black Tortoise asked with sleepy eyes. You sleepy guy, you really don't care about your master's life or death, Little Hei said with a roll of her eyes. Master is in seclusion and told me to take a nap. I'm just taking a nap. What year is it now? Black Tortoise said with a silly expression. At least an epoch has passed. Are you still going to stay here? Master hasn't summoned me yet. I'm going to continue sleeping. Looks like I woke you up for nothing. Howling Celestial Dog, why did your cultivation level drop so much? Did something happen to Master Yang? What could have happened? Nothing happened at all. At this moment, Yang Wu came over and saw Little Hay and Black Tortoise talking. He was surprised. Little Hay and Black Tortoise knew each other. Black Tortoise looked in Yang Wu's direction, and its eyes widened. It stuttered, he's Yang. Before it could finish, Little Hay swung her claws and smacked its head. Don't talk nonsense. No one thinks you're mute. Go back to sleep. Wake up when the true marshal summons you. Black Tortoise didn't feel any pain. It glanced at Yang Wu again and muttered, similar, really similar. Then, it sank into the water. The sea returned to normal, and the 4 islands also quieted down. The creatures on the islands didn't notice the existence of Black Tortoise and Little Hay. They thought it was just an earthquake. Little Hay, this is Black Tortoise? Yang Wu asked Little Hay in shock. Yes, the true marshal's mount. I didn't expect it to be hiding here. It must be guarding this place, Little Hay replied. Yang Wu slapped his forehead and said, What's going on? It feels so familiar, but also so foreign. Who am I? What a headache. It's useless to think too much now. If you don't become an immortal, you won't be able to remember everything. Become an immortal, then I'll become an immortal and see if I'm still me. Yang Wu was really angry. It wasn't easy to get rid of the true marshal's shadow, but a huge black tortoise had appeared. He felt that it had a lot to do with him, and it made him very uncomfortable. He kept feeling that this black tortoise was familiar to him. Yang Wu returned to the 4 islands and had a long-awaited conversation with Yunqi. It was mostly about whether Yunqi was willing to become the king of the 4 islands. If she was willing, he would let her be the king of the 4 islands forever. If she was unwilling, he would take her away from here and go to the Divine Firmament battlefield or even the Divine World. Master, I just want to be by your side. I don't want to be a king. Yunqi threw herself into Yang Wu's arms and cried. In the years that Yang Wu had been away, she had been thinking about him all the time. She wanted to become stronger for him. Without his support, she didn't know what was the point of living. Not to mention these rites, she didn't miss them at all. Yang Wu stroked her silver hair and said, Then come with me to the Divine World. Only then did she stop crying and smile, but she still hugged his waist tightly, unwilling to let go. She couldn't wait to give everything to her master. After comforting Yunqi, Yang Wu went to see Old Man Ice Illusion alone. In your world, you can cultivate to the peak of the Jade Moon realm. Your talent can be considered good. This place is indeed not suitable for you. If you are willing to be loyal to me, I will take you away from here and help you break through to the true God realm in the future. But I don't know if you are truly loyal. Yang Wu went straight to the point. After Yang Wu finished speaking, Old Man Ice Illusion's face suddenly changed into a young and beautiful woman. Her beauty was even better than Yunqi's. This wasn't an old man, but a sexy and beautiful woman. Bing Huan is willing to be your woman. Bing Huan lightly licked her lips. The clothes on her body were all torn apart, revealing an incomparably perfect body. It had to be said that this was a perfect woman. She wasn't inferior to Yu Huaijin in the past. Yang Wu didn't reveal the slightest bit of greed. Instead, he stared at her body. Her sparkling skin was like ice and snow, emitting a dense color. He softly said, You have the ice-snow divine body? I don't know, but I guess so. Bing Huan replied. Yang Wu took a step back and said, Put on your clothes. I am a man with a family. Haha, the number 1 person in the transcendent realm is even afraid of a woman? Bing Huan said with a beautiful smile. She paused for a moment and then said, With my master's status, as long as you wave your hand, all the women in the world will be willing to accept your favor. Who would dare say half a word? If you want to go to the divine world, then immediately put on your clothes, Yang Wu said sternly. The blood in his body was boiling and he couldn't suppress it. Bing Huan obediently put on her clothes and once again transformed into the old man's appearance. Why are you doing this? This servant is so beautiful. If I didn't do this, I would have been captured and played with long ago. It's not like I haven't encountered such things when I was a girl. This reason is barely passable. In the future, you will stay by Yunqi's side. When I leave, I will naturally take you with me. Yang Wu didn't stay on the 4 islands and let Yunqi and Bing Huan do as they pleased. With them taking care of things, the 4 islands would usher in a new development. Yang Wu brought Little He and returned to the mainland. He wanted to go back to his family and see them, but Little He insisted that he go with her to the Thunder Mountains first. When the Thunder Mountains were taken, it would definitely cause a huge commotion. It needed Yang Wu to suppress the living beings in that area and not affect its movement. Yang Wu could only follow Little He's suggestion. When they passed through the sea and returned to the mainland, they could feel the blood qi filling the sky and countless vengeful spirits floating around. Such a dense blood qi. How many living beings have died to create this kind of situation? Little He muttered. Yang Wu's eyes jumped up. He merged with the transcendent world's will and sensed the changes in the world. Very quickly, he could feel that the transcendent world was also resisting this dense blood qi. It was not willing to see living beings die, and it was also affected by this blood qi. Could it be? Yang Wu's heart was filled with a bit of panic. The divine mathematician had divined that the demon seed would bring disaster to the world. Could it be that it was about to become reality? The demon seed was no one else but his son Xietian. He was worried that Xietian would start a slaughter? Little He, you refine the Thunder Mountains yourself. I want to find my son Xietian. Yang Wu said this. He did not care about Little He as he merged with the transcendent world to find Xietian. Very quickly, he locked onto Xietian's position and the transcendent world's will teleported him over. This kind of method, even Little He could not compare to it. He has merged with the world, it seems like returning to the immortal realm won't be too far away. Little He muttered. Little He did not care about Yang Wu and directly headed in the direction of the Thunder Mountains. With Yang Wu's current strength, there was nothing in this world that he could not solve. He needed to refine the 2 Thunder Mountains. When he returned to the immortal realm in the future, it would be very useful. Chapter 17:13. The current transcendent realm was turbulent. There were 3 rising stars that had stirred up the world. The Yang family had the divine son Yang Zixing. It was said that he was the reincarnation of the short-lived patriarch of the Yang family, Yang Jinghai. It was also said that he was the son of Yang Wu and had obtained the innate thunder embryo, obtaining the incomparably domineering divine thunder body. He had been the divine son since birth, and had broken through several realms, obtaining heaven-defying technique. The Yang family had once risen because of Yang Wu, stabilizing the Yang family's position in the battle race. And Yang Zixing's rise had led the Yang family back into the top 3 of the battle race. Of course, all of this was related to Yang Wu, but Yang Zixing had fought his own wonderful battles. For example, he had reached the 12th level of the God of War pagoda like Yang Wu. For example, he had entered the forbidden area of the Purple Firmament realm and defeated the peak sages of the Purple Firmament Palace, taking away a heaven-defying opportunity. For example, he had subdued a heaven-defying divine thunder eagle as his mount. In a short 20 years, his achievements were shocking. The people of the transcendent realm had thought that Yang Zixing would succeed Yang Wu and become the #1 person in the transcendent realm in the next 1,000 years. Who would have thought that a youth named Xietian would suddenly appear and kill his way to the battle race's Ho family, slaughtering all the people below the heaven-defying realm in the Ho family. This matter instantly alarmed the battle race and the transcendent realm. The Ho family was an old family of the battle race, only second to the Xianyuan family. Their background could be imagined, but a single youth had actually killed his way to their door and killed many sages and descendants. This child was too arrogant. The whole family had issued a sky-high bounty for Xietian. Many experts had surrounded Xietian, but it was a pity that the ones who died were the experts. Moreover, Xietian had created an organization called the Wicked Sky Sect, and recruited many evil beings. Moreover, he had many heaven-defying realm protectors by his side. The Wicked Sky Sect had quickly grown and had declared that they would eradicate the whole family. The Wicked Sky Sect had used some unknown method to attract many people from the wicked path. It seemed like it was going to become the #1 sect in the world. It felt like it was going to replace the destroyed Yama Palace as the #1 evil sect. The Wicked Sky Demon race's name made people's expression. The Divine Sun Yang Zixing and the Wicked Sky sect's Xietian. And Xietian. However, some people said that Xietian was stronger and some people said that Yang Zixing was stronger. They were the only ones who knew the truth. It had always been a battle between gods and devils. Who would have thought that an even more terrifying monster, the Blood Infant, would suddenly appear in recent years? Where? Many major forces sent experts to deal with the Blood Infant. Among them, the benevolent monks of the Shaolin Temple contributed the most. A powerful, unknown monk was sent out. It was rumored that he was a martial sage with a very strong combat strength. He was a young monk who had the potential to take over the position of abbot. In the end, this monk had his blood essence devoured by the Blood Infant and died. The Blood Infant became famous in a single battle, being on the same level as the demon and god. Now the Blood Infant was even more terrifying than Xietian. No one in the world could stop Xietian and the Blood Infant. The world would fall into chaos and countless lives would die. It was a pity that the world's powers only cared about themselves. It was easier said than done to unite to deal with them. Other than the names of the 3 sons, there was also a new generation of shocking phenomena. The transcendent realm had recovered and become a high-level world. This was related to the human world's #1 martial saint, Yang Wu. Everyone had benefited from him, and shocking divine items appeared in the various realms. There were some half-step heaven-defying realm cultivators that broke through to the heaven-defying realm. There were also large amounts of sacred items that created even more saint realm beings. Other than this, there were also some incredible heavens-favored children. Even if these people could not compare to the previous 3 sons, the general trend had already appeared. Especially the son of the saint that was confirmed to be Yang Wu's unparalleled heavens-favored child. They were indeed unparalleled heavens-favored children. They cultivated step by step and were still in their youth, but they had already broken through to the small saint realm. They were not far from the saint realm. Not only that, their battle strength was also incredible. There was once a saint realm being that wanted to plot against them, but they were directly killed by the siblings. With this pair of unparalleled heavens-favored children, it would not be difficult for the Yang family to become the #1 clan of the battle race in the future. On the contrary, the Xing and Lu families that had been enemies with the Yang family were quickly declining. Many heavens-favored children died prematurely, and there were even heaven-defying old farts that had mysteriously fallen. They gradually fell to the bottom of the 8 clans, and could no longer make a name for themselves. However, the Yang family hated them for invading their clan and joined forces with the Sun and Li families to chase after them. They did not plan to give them a chance to make a comeback. If the Xianyuan family did not want to maintain their position as the #1 clan and interfered, the Xing and Lu families would have been even more miserable. Even if Yang Wu had left the Yang family, the Yang family still had the Crow army and many demon gods to protect them. Such a foundation was already incomparably stable and could not be easily bullied by other clans. In addition, the Yang family's patriarch, Yang Qinghu, was also an outstanding talent of his generation. Unfortunately, he was overshadowed by the previous 3 sons. He had already become an outstanding martial saint, and his governing ability was not to be underestimated. Among the recent 10 generations of patriarchs, he could be ranked second only to Yang Wu. The Yang family had quietly become a superpower. Also, the former number 1 palace in the world once again accepted disciples. As the palace's patriarch, Nanen Yang, got rid of her pet name and called herself Yang Girl, which meant that she was the daughter of the Yang family. Everyone called her Goddess Yang. She was a mysterious woman who was said to be above the 3 sons. However, after opening the palace and accepting disciples, she rarely appeared in the Jianghu, so there were few related matters. But everyone knew that she was Yang Wu's little sister. Her luck was amazing, and she also had a terrifying true dragon. Even Xie Tian and the blood infant would have to run away at the sight of her. The Yang family's divine son, Yang Zixing, was obedient in front of her, which showed how strong she was. The number of disciples accepted by the heavenly palace was extremely small. They were all geniuses among geniuses. As for the first guardian, Jiang Ping was a martial sage who was once as famous as Yang Wu. If it were not for his notorious reputation, it was likely that even more people would have joined the heavenly palace. The Wicked Sky sect, the Yang family, and the heavenly palace, the 3 most powerful forces, attacked the old forces. The young Hall King of the Eternal Life Palace could not help but come out of seclusion and challenge Yang Zixing, Xie Tian, and the Blood Infant. As someone who had been defeated by Yang Wu, the young Hall King became brave after being humiliated. He broke through several realms and became the dazzling martial saint of the Eternal Life Palace. On this day, the young Hall King and Xie Tian agreed to fight outside the Wicked Sky sect. The Wicked Sky sect was in the War clan, which was originally the territory of the Empress clan. After Xie Tian and the others fought over it, it became the territory of the Wicked Sky sect. The young Hall King was wearing armor and looked more mature than before. His body was covered in holy qi, as if the starlight in the sky had merged with him. His high willpower was indeed incomparable to ordinary people. Since Yang Wu became the first martial saint, the young Hall King entered the forbidden area of the Eternal Life Palace for seclusion. The day he came out was accompanied by a vision, which was a sign of the general trend. After being in seclusion for 20 years, once he came out, he wanted to defeat all the experts in the world. Xie Tian was the first person he challenged. The young Hall King came alone, and Xie Tian's side was filled with demons. There were over 10,000 people in the array, and not only were they humans, there were also other races and even demons. It had to be said that Xie Tian really dared to accept any kind of life form. It was because of this that he became a different race from the human race. Xie Tian was holding a war spear. He had a slender figure and was wearing thin clothes. There was a faint evil smile on his handsome face, and there was a battle mark on his forehead. There was also a flame ring on his arms. There was no doubt that he was a demon. The life forms by Xie Tian's side kept calling out in shock, "Sect Master is mighty. The Sect Master is mighty." His aura was very strong, enough to make people feel fear. Xie Tian waved his hand and it instantly became silent. He cleared his throat and revealed a smile of disdain as he said, "Coming to my territory to challenge me, you are the second one. Your courage is commendable, I will leave you an intact corpse." The young Hall King calmly replied, "Xie Tian, you are from another world, right? Why did you come to my transcendent realm to cause trouble? If you are willing to submit to this king and disband the evil Sky sect, this king can forgive you and let you join my Eternal Life Palace." Other than dealing with the Empress family, Xie Tian also caused trouble for the powers that had hindered his development. "Ha ha, what a joke! I heard that you were defeated by Yang Wu several decades ago, and now that Yang Wu has ascended to the divine realm, you came out to show off. It's a pity that you chose the wrong person," Xie Tian said with a wild laugh. The young Hall King knit his brows and said, "It seems like you really don't know." After that, his figure moved and he appeared in front of Xietian in the blink of an eye. He sent out a normal fist. Eternal life fist. One fist could give you eternal life, one fist could also break eternal life. Eternal life fist. After many years of tempering, the young Hall King's battle strength was already very terrifying. Even a peak saint would not be able to block this fist. This fist broke through space and continued forward, landing on Xietian's body. Pung! A powerful aura exploded and the world shook. When he thought that this fist would explode Xietian, he found that Xietian had already appeared behind him and said with a smile, "Your speed is too slow. I really don't know how you were Yang Wu's opponent in the past. You wouldn't be bragging, right?" The young Hall King's brows jumped up, but he was not surprised at all. He sent out another fist, but this time his fist was not faster, rather it was much slower. It didn't feel like he was exchanging blows with someone, but rather he was practicing his fist. But the might of this fist was much stronger than before and it had a wider range, not allowing Xietian to escape again. This was the next step of the Eternal Life Fist. A bit interesting, but it's still not enough. Xietian revealed a smile and directly sent out a punch. In an instant, the starlight that filled the sky was pulled down by him. The torrential palm force was suffused with a terrifying power, crushing the space and cracking it inch by inch. Pung! Chapter 17:14. The long life fist was broken and the young Hall King was forced back. The young Hall King who had cultivated for many years was a god of war. He had never thought that his power would be blocked so easily. He gave a loud roar and his sacred energy surged. A long life chi image appeared behind him and a long life lotus appeared. His fists wildly fell down as if he wanted to destroy the world and return a long life heaven to all living beings in the world. Xietian also attacked again and again. Each palm was filled with the power of a river of stars, shattering the young Hall King's attacks and forcing him to retreat. Hong Long, Hong Long. This kind of heaven-shaking battle was not inferior to the battle between Yang Wu and Kuan Mingzi, it was even better. There were already many experts watching in the surroundings. They all wanted to see if the young Hall King could suppress Xietian and win. Looking at it now, Xietian was filled with evil energy. He had obtained the martial arts fate of the world, and his martial arts strength was too terrifying. His palms were continuous, and they could shatter stars. The young Hall King would not give up just like that. He activated the longevity secret technique and his battle prowess sword. The longevity sword appeared in his hand and sword light filled the sky like rain, forming a terrifying sword domain. He wanted to trap Xietian in it and kill him. Xietian gave a cold laugh. His arms trembled and a ring of fire flew out, shattering the countless sword glows. There was also a battle spear in his hand and like it was the moon, he charged at the young Hall King. Sword shadows filled the sky and spear light filled the sky. The wind and clouds collapsed and space was shattered. This was a fierce battle between a dragon and a tiger. While the onlookers were watching the exciting battle, the spear beam suddenly grew bigger. It descended from the sky like a burning stick and smashed into the young Hall King's body. The young Hall King's longevity sword was sent flying, and his body slammed heavily into the mountain below. The mountain instantly crumbled. Everyone was speechless. The insufferably arrogant young Hall King was slammed into a deep hole like this? This spear was too tyrannical. Xietian could kill gods or he was already a god. Everyone no longer had any doubts. This was the son of a demon god. Xietian did not chase after the young Hall King, rather he stabbed out with his spear again. Space shattered and a figure came out of it. "This king will fight you," that person shouted in shock. He also unleashed a longevity fist. However, this fist intent was even more continuous. It was like a sea of clouds pressing down on Xietian. Stronger power, stronger fist intent. This was the great Hall King. He had once almost died in battle in the final realm, but fortunately, he had a secret technique that allowed him to survive. Now that he had returned, he was even stronger than before. When the profound chi of the world flourished, he had reached the peak of the star pattern realm, 2 realms higher than the young palace king. He punched out one punch after another, and heaven and earth shook along with him. This was a battle prowess that could defy the heavens and slay gods. There were not many transcendental world geniuses who could stand shoulder to shoulder with Yang Wu, and the first Hall King was definitely one of them. Xie Tian kept blocking and being forced back, but his expression was still incomparably calm. After beating up the small one, the big one came. "It's a pity that it's all pretty but useless," Xie Tian replied as he moved through space like a ghost, dodging the Great Hall King's fist. He raised his spear and continued to attack. The Great Hall King only cultivated fist arts, so his fist intent was overflowing. Each fist had a sea of clouds exploding and heaven and earth collapsing, blocking Xie Tian's continuous attack. "The Great Hall King is the Great Hall King. He's much stronger than the young Palace King. Is this Xie Tian a heaven's pride from another world? I always feel that he is a bit similar to Divine Master Yang Wu." "You don't say. There really is a bit of similarity. Even the way he fights has the same heroic spirit, but it's a pity that there is more evil energy. If the Great Hall King can take down Xie Tian, it would give the Long Life Palace face. Of the 3 palaces, the King of Hell's palace has been destroyed, the Purple Cloud Palace has declined, and only the Long Life Palace has never declined. Just based on the Great Hall King's battle strength, it's clear that he has confidence." The Great Hall King and Great Hall King were both very strong, being able to fight Divine Realm experts. Xie Tian had been in the Sacred Realm since he was born, so after all these years, would he still be in the same place? When Xie Tian released his true battle strength, his spear was like a rainbow as flames surged out. The dancing spear images surrounded the Great Hall King and spear after spear, completely defeating the Great Hall King. The Great Hall King would not give up this easily, so he threw out a divine map. With the Invincible Realm Divine Bead, all his divine level items and innate skills were released at the same time. This was the true strength of the Great Hall King's years of hard work. He was not in closed-door cultivation like the young Palace King, but rather he entered those bitter cold lands to find the strongest opportunities. These were his opportunities. However, in terms of opportunities, how could they compare to Xie Tian, who had returned from another world? His flame ring flew out, nothing could stop him. Moreover, there was a red divine rope that flew out, binding the Great Hall King like a snake. This divine rope contained an extraordinary power, avoiding the Great Hall King's divine item and appearing beside him. It quickly tied him up and he could not escape no matter how he struggled. This was a half-immortal rope. Anything related to the word immortal, even a true god would retreat, not to mention the Great Hall King. "Stop!" Seeing Xie Tian take down the Great Hall King, someone shouted out in shock. They grabbed at the Great Hall King, wanting to save him. "There is no place for you to act presumptuously here." Another voice rang out and a powerful energy appeared, blocking the person who wanted to save the Great Hall King. The Long Life Hall sent out an Overlord-level character and Xie Tian also sent out an Overlord-level character to block him. The former was a gray-robed old man and the latter was a strong middle-aged man. The two of them did not waste words and directly attacked. The Overlord-level battle strength was heaven-shaking, and they did not show any mercy when they attacked. The Long Life Hall's Overlord only wanted to save people, and the Evil Sky Sect's Overlord wanted to stop him. In this short clash, Xie Tian had already grasped the Great Hall King in his hands. As for the young Palace King, he had escaped. When he was heavily injured by Xie Tian, he had already torn open the divine decree to escape, otherwise he would have been caught by the Evil Sky Sect's experts. The Long Life Hall did not want to see the two Great Hall Kings captured. Another deity realm expert appeared to protect the young palace king, preventing anything from happening. When the Great Hall King was captured by Xietian, the Long Life Hall's third deity realm expert appeared. This was the strongest fellow, named Chun Lang. He was a famous expert of the Long Life Hall, and was ranked in the top 20 of the Overlord rankings. He was at the 10th level Jade Moon Realm. Chun Lang did not dare make a move rashly. He could feel that there was a similarly strong being staring at him. "We admit defeat and let him go," Chun Lang said to Xietian. The Long Life Hall Kings had both been defeated, so they had to admit defeat. "You want to let it go with just admitting defeat?" Xietian raised his brows as he spoke. "We will compensate you." "It's fine if there's compensation. Take out your sincerity and I will consider it. How about 18 high-grade Saint Veins? It seems like you want him to die. I'll add 2 more divine veins and my Long Life Hall will not fight with your evil sky sect for 10 years. This was the Long Life Hall's greatest sincerity. It seems very sincere. Xietian smiled and said, "I can return him to you, but they provoked this sect master, so their punishment is unavoidable." In the next moment, he angrily slapped the Great Hall King. A tyrannical power entered the Great Hall King's body, wreaking havoc in his meridians and acupuncture points. The Great Hall King gave a pitiful cry as his strength quickly leaked out like a deflated balloon. "Good courage!" Chun Lang was enraged. The Great Hall King had been crippled because he failed in his duty as a protector. With a roar, he reached out to grab Xietian. The strength of his palm was shocking. He had to kill Xietian in a single move. However, before he could touch Xietian, a power blocked Chun Lang. It was a demon named Richard Demon. His demonic chi was incomparably terrifying, and he was not weaker than Chun Lang. "Daring to touch my master, you're tired of living," Richard Demon loudly shouted. He attacked Chun Lang and a majestic demonic energy broke through the layers of space, falling down on Chun Lang. Chun Lang did not meet it head-on and moved to dodge it. He loudly shouted, "Xietian, quickly release him, otherwise my Long Life Hall will not be able to coexist with your evil sky sect." In the next moment, a powerful aura came from all directions. It was the Long Life Hall's backup plan. Another voice rang out, "Xietian, return the life of my Empress Clan's son." The Empress Clan's heaven-reaching old monster Ho Quan and the other heaven-reaching experts of the Empress Clan had all come. This time, the Empress Clan, Long Life Hall, and Yang family's divine-level experts had all come together. Everything was to suppress Xietian. "Old man of the Empress Clan, daring to leave your nest. It seems like you're seeking death." Xietian saw all these divine-level experts appear, but he did not feel any fear. The thing he was least afraid of in his heart were dead people, and he was even less afraid of others killing him. Coming back this time, he just wanted to get justice for his mother. The Empress Clan's people all deserved to be killed. So what if these powers came together? It wasn't like the evil sky sect couldn't deal with them. "Xietian, let them go and we'll fight again." A youth with the power of thunder and lightning around him walked out and spoke in a soft voice. This youth was like the son of the thunder god that had walked out of a sea of thunder, with 5-colored divine thunder flowing around him, and an incomparably mighty thunder god eagle by his side. It was the Yang family's Yang Zixing. Over the years, Yang Zixing had experienced many large battles. Other than not being able to take advantage of Xietian, he had won all the other battles. The Yang family and the Empress Clan were allies. The Empress Clan was being pressured by the evil sky sect, and had no choice but to ask the Yang family for help. Currently, the Yang family had also produced many High God Realm Masters, and among them, Yang Zhenan's improvement was the fastest. After the Martial Saint Assembly, he had directly broken through to the connecting Heaven Realm, then broke through like a hot knife through butter, reaching the 3rd grade Jade Moon Realm. Other than that, there were also some heaven-reaching experts. Several dozen heaven-reaching experts came just to deal with Xietian. Xie Tian raised his spear and his body was covered in demonic qi. He loudly shouted, "It doesn't matter how many people come, we'll settle this today. Whoever stops me from killing the Empress clan's people will be my evil sky sect's enemies." After that, he raised the Great Hall King and made a killing move. "You dare!" Pung. Chapter 17:15. The main Hall King was dead. He died in a very aggrieved manner. He was the Long Life Hall's main Hall King with high hopes. Not long ago, the Long Life Hall's main Hall King wanted to give him the position, but he didn't accept it. He only wanted to become a supreme expert and didn't care about this position, so the position was given to the young Hall King. The young Hall King didn't immediately take the position. He planned to take the position of Hall Master after killing Xie Tian. In the end, one was defeated and one was killed. His end was very tragic. Xie Tian's methods were very cruel and overbearing. It was no wonder he was called a demon. The Long Life Hall's people went crazy. The main Hall King's innate talent was shocking, one of the future cornerstones of the Long Life Hall. Now that he was killed like this, they had to take revenge. The Long Life Hall had sent 30 Jade Moon Realm Connecting Heaven experts. This was the terrifying part of being a giant power. "Xie Tian, you really deserve to die. We must destroy the evil sky sect today and take revenge for the main Hall King. This evil beast can't be left in this world." The Empress family also sent 20 Connecting Heaven expert. The Empress family had already lost 7-8 Connecting Heaven experts to Xie Tian, so they couldn't continue like this. They had to deal a heavy blow to Xie Tian. There weren't many Connecting Heaven experts from the Yang family. Other than Yang Zixing, there were 8 Connecting Heaven experts from the Yang family, including Yang Zhenan. Xie Tian was Yang Zhenan's grandson. How could he not come? Other than him, there weren't many people who knew about this. He always wanted to announce this news and let everyone give up their hatred for Xie Tian, but Xie Tian was too much. Once he announced this news, Yang Wu's reputation would be swept to the ground. He could only endure it and endure it very painfully. He didn't come today to see Xie Tian be killed, but rather to see if there was a chance to take Xie Tian away. He definitely couldn't let him die here. The Long Life Hall and the Empress family had both used their terrifying trump cards just to take care of Xie Tian. This was not a joke. The battle could begin at any moment. There was no room for negotiation at all. The god-level experts of the Evil Heaven sect all appeared, including quite a few demon experts. This made everyone hate Xie Tian even more. The people of the Transcendent Realm hated colluding with the demons the most, especially the war race that had been enemies with the demons for generations. Xie Tian doing this was naturally a thorn in their eyes. Other than these 3 forces, other battle clans had also sent people, including the Xianyuan clan, the Sun clan, the Qin clan, and the Li clan. They all wanted to see the wicked Sky sect perish. The war race realm had always been the war race's own territory. They did not allow others to encroach on it. When the Xianyuan clan offered to help the Empress clan, the other clans naturally agreed. The Xing and Lu families didn't send anyone over. They had been down on their luck for the past few years and didn't have the energy to deal with such matters. Aside from the sky-reaching realm figures, there were also 200 to 300 saint-level creatures, all of whom were top-notch powerhouses. When the battle began, most people's attacks were aimed at Xie Tian. Only by punishing the main evildoers could they put an end to the chaos and sweep away all future troubles. How could Xie Tian be killed that easily? He had the heaven-escaping shuttle, and could break through space, dodging many attacks. "If you want to fight, then let's fight to the death," Xie Tian roared out. With a wave of his hand, large amounts of demons appeared. In these years, he did not go to other realms. Rather he went to the war race's demon world and became the divine son of the demon race. Otherwise, his strength would not have increased this quickly and he would have gathered large amounts of demon experts, with no lack of divine-level beings. Hong Long. The power that filled the sky collided with each other, creating shocking explosions that seemed like the world was about to explode. Powerful figures charged into the sky one after another to fight to the death. This battle was set, there had to be a complete defeat for it to end. Yang Zixing and Xie Tian were natural enemies, so the two of them immediately clashed. Xie Tian, you can't escape today. Obediently surrender and you won't die. Yang Zixing shouted in a shocked voice. He also knew Xie Tian's identity, it was Yang Zhinan who told him. He hoped that in the battle with Xie Tian, he would not kill him. Xie Tian gave a cold smile and said, "Are you worthy of being defeated by me?" In the next moment they wildly clashed. It was not easy for others to interfere. The battle between the demonic seed and the divine sun was incomparably shocking, and they had countless methods. Even if an overlord-level expert wanted to interfere, they would have to consider if the divine items in their hands were strong enough. After all, the things the two of them had were not small. Xie Tian had the evil flame spear, the demonic god's ring, the heaven-escaping shuttle, and the half-immortal rope. All of them were top-grade divine items. Yang Zixing was not bad either. He had the primal chaos divine thunder seal, the thunder spear that Yang Wu had given him, and the purple divine armor. All of them were very terrifying. In this chaotic battle, the various Saint Realm beings were also fighting, and there were powerful beings that died one after another. Those weaker creatures were caught in the crossfire. They didn't even have the chance to escape before they were deader than dead. No one noticed that under the battlefield, there was a baby hiding in a small world, absorbing the blood energy here. Hey, the battle is even more fierce. The ferocious-looking blood infant sneered in his heart. Not far from the blood infant, there was an invincible overlord protecting him. It was the elusive King Yama. He was wearing a terrifying mask and his face could not be seen clearly. Wherever this duo went, it was unknown how many areas of death they had caused. The Palace of Immortality had lost their first palace king, so they would not give Xie Tian a chance to live. Qin Lang took out the Palace of Immortality's most precious treasure, the Longevity Tower. This was a terrifying divine weapon. Under his control, he heavily injured Richard and then turned his target to Xie Tian. The Longevity Tower emitted an immeasurable brilliance that enveloped heaven and earth. It was enough to suppress all demons and monsters. Yang Zixing sensed this big fellow and ran away without hesitation. Even his Thunder God's spear could not block this divine weapon. I wonder if this guy can block it. Yang Zixing thought to himself. The Longevity Tower was mainly targeting Xie Tian. No matter how he ran, the Longevity Tower still fell towards him. Xie Tian used the soaring shuttle to escape 10,000 miles away, but the Longevity Tower was still pressing down on him. So powerful! Xie Tian cried out in surprise. He shook the demonic god rings and several demonic god rings grew bigger and smashed towards the Longevity Tower. In the end, the demonic god rings were sucked into the Longevity Tower. Half-immortal rope. Xie Tian did not dare to hold back and threw out the half-immortal rope in his hand. The half-immortal rope's grade was higher and it directly bound the Longevity Tower. However, just as he was about to block the Longevity Tower's attack, a massive, yellow-colored wheel shot towards him, as bright as the sun. The Xianyuan Heaven Wheel. This was the Xianyuan clan's precious treasure. Xiao. An arrow pierced through the sky. This arrow was so accurate that it could shoot down heaven and earth. It was the Empress clan's shooting sun arrow. Even though Xie Tian used the soaring shuttle, he was still hit by this arrow. The divine armor on his body exploded and his demonic body was heavily injured. The heaven will smash down like heaven and earth. Even his evil flame spear could not block it. Pooh! Xie Tian spat out blood and fell down. Ah! You have angered me! Xie Tian roared. The demonic mark on his forehead pulsed and the wounds on his body quickly healed. 3 heads and 6 arms grew out of his body. 3 heads and 6 arms divine ability. This was a great divine ability. A divine weapon appeared on each of Sietion's 6 arms. There was the demonic heavenly hammer, the demonic flame spear, and the berserk blood divine blade. 6 different divine weapons flew at the heaven's regret wheel and the sun's shooting arrow. Not only that, his 2 extra heads also released demonic sounds that could shake heaven and earth. The Overlord-level experts who were surrounding him were all shocked. Sietion's strength was already within their expectations. However, when they were forced to this step, they realized that Sietion was even more terrifying than they imagined. An old royal uncle from the Xianyuan clan, Xianyuan Shu Quan, sighed, "It's a pity that he's a demonic seed. He was clearly a human, but he was a demonic seed. It was a pity that he died, but it was not pitiful." Xianyuan Shu Quan stepped through the air. Other than the shooting sun bow, he also held a large blade called the heaven-breaking blade. It was also a divine blade passed down from his ancestor. He wildly slashed down, determined to kill Sietion. Although he had guessed that Sietion might have the bloodline of the Empress clan, so what? Since he was willing to become a demon, he could only cut the weeds and eliminate the root. Qin Lang also rushed over. He urged the longevity tower to become bigger and wanted to break the half-immortal rope. However, he could not do so. He could only wildly attack Sietion. They worked together to kill Sietion, not giving him any chance. These 3 were all overlords. They even brought a large number of troops to kill him. Sietion with his 3 heads and 6 arms couldn't block them. After fighting with them for a while, his demonic body was broken and his divine ability was retracted. It was hard for him to display any more battle strength. Sietion was helpless. He could only take out the soaring shuttle and escape first. This time you won't be able to escape even if you have wings. A heaven and earth cover fell down, enveloping the space of heaven and earth, preventing Sietion from escaping. This was a divine item from another overlord of the Long Life Palace. It was called the Heaven and Earth Cover. It was the best array core of a divine array. When the divine cover fell down, heaven and earth formed a space of its own. Sietion's eyes were filled with flames. His body was covered in a demonic armor. He raised his strength to the limit and controlled several divine weapons to continue fighting. Unfortunately, there was no way he could withstand the continuous bombardment of these powers. His physical body was smashed again and again. When everyone was about to kill him, outside the heaven and earth cover, he attacked the overlord controlling the heaven and earth cover. "Bastard, Yang Zhennan, what do you want to do?" The overlord of the Long Life Palace cursed. He was suddenly attacked by Yang Zhennan. He couldn't fully control the heaven and earth cover. Sietion had a small gap to escape with the soaring shuttle. Seeing that Sietion was about to escape, there was a giant palm print that pressed down on the space Sietion was in. Pung! The space collapsed and Sietion was slapped out of the space. "You've done all kinds of evil. I'll teach you a lesson in place of your parents." An ordinary-looking figure quietly appeared. When everyone saw this person, they all cried out in shock, "Tao Ancestor!" The second Tao Ancestor, no one dared to call him by his name. They all called him Tao Ancestor. This was the current #1 expert. When Yang Zhennan knew this person's identity, his body turned cold. "My grandson can't be saved?" When the second Tao Ancestor was about to capture the heavily injured Sietion, a figure appeared in front of him and said, "My son has his own lesson, there's no need for others to teach him." Chapter 17:16. The Tao Ancestor was the strongest person in the Long Life Hall and was recognized as the strongest person, but he always claimed to be the second strongest and no one dared to claim to be first. Until the battle between the Heavenly Palaces, Hao Run and the Tao Ancestor's second brother, only then did people confirm that there was someone who could win against the Tao Ancestor's second brother. Only no one saw that battle, so no one knew who won or lost. Later Hao Run was killed by a powerful clone left in the God realm, becoming a regretful person in the transcendent realm. Everyone thought that if the human realm's #1 martial saint, Yang Wu, did not leave this world, he would be able to catch up to the legendary Dao ancestor's second brother. Xie Tian, Yang Zixing, and Blood Infant were all promising candidates to replace him in the future. Only after Xie Tian killed the Great Palace King, there was no turning back. No one knew that the Great Palace King and the Great Palace King were actually the Dao ancestors' second brothers' closed-door disciples, so they had high hopes for them. Especially the Great Palace King. He was calm, had great ambitions, and had a great future. As long as he was carefully trained, he would become an overlord in the future. But it was not easy to surpass the Dao ancestor's second brother. The Dao ancestor's second brother was an invincible-level character. If he wanted to kill Xie Tian, it would be a piece of cake. Yang Jinan was already in despair, so Xie Tian could only pray that his unknown master would come to save him. But he did not think that would happen. When he was thrown into the demon race's territory, his master had said that his life was decided by the heavens. He had been too arrogant and wild these years, thinking that he was invincible, but now he found that he was still lacking. At the same time, he never thought that the one to save him would not be his master, but rather a fellow he did not want to see, a fellow who claimed to be his father. Although he had always denied this matter, the bloodline in his body could not lie to him. This person who had become the #1 martial saint of the human realm was his father. Yang Wu's sudden appearance once again shocked everyone. 20 years ago, who did not know that Yang Wu had left the human realm for the god realm? How could he appear in just 20 years? Could it be that he was just a clone like the Dao ancestor's second brother? Wu, is that you? Yang Jinan asked in a trembling voice. Father, bring Xie Tian to the side and leave this to me. Yang Wu said as he threw Xie Tian to Yang Jinan. Xie Tian wanted to resist, but he couldn't do it at all. Although the speed at which he recovered from his injuries was fast, the energy he had expended was not fake. It was difficult to replenish it in a short period of time. The second brother didn't stop Yang Wu. In his eyes, as long as he took action, no one would be able to escape even if they ran to the ends of the earth. No one dared to question Yang Wu. With second Dao brother here, they had no right to speak. Yang Wu cupped his fists and said, Yang Wu greets senior. This was the courtesy of a junior. This was the first time the two of them had met. Even when Yang Wu became the greatest saint of the human world, he still didn't see the second brother. However, he had heard about the battle between his master and the other party. Is he really your son? The second brother asked. Everyone pricked up their ears, waiting for Yang Wu's response. Yang Wu replied without hesitation, yes. Then everything he has done, do you know about it? He is my lost son and has never been disciplined. After returning from the god realm, I will definitely restrain him. I will not let him harm others for no reason. Moreover, I, Yang Wu, am willing to bear the consequences of his actions. When everyone heard Yang Wu admit that Xie Tian was his son, their expressions changed several times. They couldn't believe it. Yang Wu, do you know what your son has done wrong? Chen Lang couldn't help asking from not far away. Yang Wu looked at Chen Lang and didn't reply. He had just returned. How could he know what Xie Tian had done? But to cause so many people to surround him, he must have done something that he shouldn't have done. No matter what, Xie Tian was his first son. Even if he pierced through the heavens, he still had to save him. Who told him to not be a father for even a single day? Your son killed my long-life palace's great hall king, Chen Lang said in a loud voice. Then he said, he also caused the saint massacre. A total of 7 by 7, 49 saints were killed by your son alone. The saint massacre happened 3 years ago, and they were indeed killed by Xie Tian. But there was a reason for it. It was because these saints had evil intentions towards Xie Tian that they met with this tragedy. Ho Qiquan also came over and shouted, my Empress clan's territory has been ruined by him. He has also killed many of my clan's people. Xie Tian must die. When Yang Wu appeared, Ho Qichuan already knew Xie Tian's identity. He was afraid that he was the child that Yang Wu had come to their clan to find many years ago. He was also the son of their clan's Ho Yu Dai. If Xie Tian hadn't committed such a heinous crime, Ho Qichuan would have still hoped that Xie Tian would return to his clan. But after Xie Tian had killed the Empress clan's people, there was no room for negotiation. Another heaven-piercing expert walked in the air and said, "Yang Wu, are you siding with Xie Tian? Look at him leading the demons out of the battle realm and killing many of my Qin family's people. Even the Xianyuan clan's people have died by his hand. He must be executed to vent the hatred in everyone's hearts. Yang Wu, you are the human world's #1 martial saint and have made a large contribution to the transcendent realm. Xie Tian has done something that angers both humans and gods. Don't try to defend him." Could it be that Xie Tian's actions were all condoned by you, Yang Wu? Now that they hear his name, even crying babies stop crying. This is simply angering both humans and God. Some of the heaven-piercing experts that had been hiding outside came out one by one to question Yang Wu. So what if Yang Wu was the #1 martial saint in the world? So what if he was recognized by the transcendent realm? In front of righteousness, could it be that he dared to become enemies with the world? There were no less than a dozen first-class powers here. Other than the war race, there were also powers like the Long Life Temple, Kunlun, and the Blood Fiend sect. Yang Jinan was worried for Yang Wu. He said in a sound transmission, "Wu bring us away first. We'll deal with this later." Yang Wu did not reply to his father and said to everyone, "Whether it's merits or demerits, it's all my fault. You all want to kill Xie Tian, and as a father, I can't bear it. Everyone, if you're happy, I will satisfy all of your requests. I just want Xie Tian to live." This time, everyone fell silent. Yang Wu's contributions to the transcendent realm were too big. He could be considered a god of the transcendent realm. After the transcendent realm leveled up, it affected the growth of living beings, so they should be grateful to Yang Wu. Today, Yang Wu was standing on the opposite side of them. They had to think about how to solve this matter. Second Tao brother spoke first. "My disciple died at his hands. He can only blame himself for being inferior. However, since I'm here, I can't return without any achievements. I heard that you're Hao Ren's disciple, so I won't bully you. As long as you take one of my palms, I'll forget about this matter." After pausing for a moment, he added, "You can't use the will of heaven and earth to block it." The second Tao brother's clone's palm strike was also filled with invincible power. None of the overlords here dared to accept it. Moreover, second Tao brother's clone was different from the others. This clone had a physical body and was not as simple as a will clone. This also meant that the strength he could release was absolutely terrifying. It was not inferior to the real thing. "Old patriarch, don't be impulsive." Yang Zishan cried out in alarm. "Wu, don't force yourself." Yang Jinan also said in a sound transmission. Yang Wu ignored them and nodded to second Tao brother. "All right." Everyone was shocked. They never thought that Yang Wu would dare to take second Tao brother's palm. 20 years ago, Yang Wu was still in the saint realm. 20 years later, even if he advanced by leaps and bounds, he would only be able to cross the threshold of the Jade Moon realm. It was impossible for him to block second Tao brother's palm. However, when they thought about how Yang Wu was the #1 martial saint in the human world, his strength was not to be underestimated. Perhaps he had some life-saving method. "You can use your most precious defensive armor." Second Tao brother took a step back and said. It wasn't that he wanted to let Yang Wu go, but in his opinion, it didn't matter if Yang Wu wore armor or not. It was just a matter of one palm. If Yang Wu died, Xie Tian would not be able to live either. "Come." Yang Wu pretended not to hear second Tao brother's words and replied. "All right." Second Tao brother replied and attacked Yang Wu. An ordinary palm slowly moved towards Yang Wu. At first, it didn't seem like there was anything strange about it, but after the palm moved, the space around them seemed to be affected. At the same time, it began to squeeze towards Yang Wu. It was as if the sky was pressing down on him. It was incomparably terrifying. If it landed on the ground, it would definitely cause a large area to collapse. This was a palm that could destroy heaven and earth. The majestic power forced the people in all directions to retreat. Only Yang Wu was left in the sky to face second Dao brother's palm. Yang Wu looked at this incomparably tyrannical palm falling down. He didn't block it. He said that if he blocked this palm, he would let Xie Tian go. Then he would block it. Pung! An earth-shattering power erupted, and a figure was sent flying for an unknown number of miles. When second Dao brother withdrew his palm, he raised his eyes and sighed. It seems like you really did return from the God realm. I'll let this matter rest for now. I'll ask for your guidance another day. After saying this, he waved his hand and swept the people of the Palace of Immortality into his universe sleeve. He directly left with them. His actions were incomparably straightforward. Even after second Dao brother left, the others were still there. They were all stunned. Had Yang Wu been slapped to death? At this moment, a person walked out of the sky not far away. It was Yang Wu without a doubt. After being hit by second Dao brother's palm, he actually walked back as if nothing had happened. Everyone looked at Yang Wu from head to toe. After confirming that Yang Wu was fine, they suddenly thought of second Dao brother's words of returning from the God realm. Could it be that Yang Wu had become a god in the God realm? I've settled the Palace of Immortality's debt, but I can also settle the debt with all of you. I won't fight back if you hit me or curse me. Yang Wu calmly looked at everyone present. Then he added, as long as you let Xie Tian go. Yang Wu, you really won't fight back if you hit me or curse me? You won't take revenge? Someone asked. Yes. Yang Wu solemnly replied. Xie Tian deserves to be killed. If you're willing to suffer for him, then take my blade. Count me in. Xie Tian killed my ancestor. This is an unforgivable crime. Yang Wu, you're protecting my ass. Xie Tian is truly ruthless. He deserves to be beaten. Chapter 1717. One after another, the sky-reaching realm experts charged mercilessly at Yang Wu with their weapons in hand. Wu dodge! Yang Zhenan shouted at Yang Wu. Although he wanted to save his grandson, he didn't want his son to be hurt. The second Dao brother's palm was already terrifying. These people in front of him weren't as strong as the second Dao brother, but with their weapons, they really wanted to kill Yang Wu. Yang Wu didn't use any energy to block, so how could he take it? A blade slashed at Yang Wu's shoulder, wanting to cut off one of his arms. A spear stabbed at Yang Wu's heart. There was also someone who threw a clock tower at his back. Every one of them was a divine weapon. After being filled with divine power, their killing power was overbearing. These powers surrounded Yang Wu at the same time, not giving Yang Wu any chance of survival. Xie Tian was also watching this scene. His pupils shrank and his heart was fiercely clenched. The primitive emotions from his bloodline couldn't fool him. He muttered in his heart, "He's not my father, he's not my father." No matter how he tried to convince himself, he still felt incomparable pain in his heart. He wanted to kill all the people in front of him. Yang Wu's divine body was incomparably hard, but when he gave up defending, he was still injured. The second Dao brother's palm had already injured his organs, but he recovered quickly, so it wasn't that bad. Now that he was being attacked by these divine weapons, there were many terrifying wounds on his body. Large amounts of blood seeped out. It was a ghastly sight. Someone wanted to hit him in the head, but he dodged it. They could hurt him anywhere except for his head. In a few blinks of an eye, Yang Wu was covered in blood. The Yang family people felt incomparable pain in their hearts. Those who knew Yang Wu couldn't bear to see him being attacked. They wanted to rush forward to help Yang Wu. "You don't have to move. He'll be fine." Yang Zixing stopped the people around him and said. At this moment, Yang Zixing's memories from his previous life surfaced in his mind. He couldn't help but sigh with emotion. Being loyal and righteous is the true ability of my Yang family's sons. Many years had passed. As he grew up, some fragmented memories of his previous life surfaced. He didn't care too much about them. His physical body was incomparably perfect in this life. Everything from his previous life had gone with the wind. Yang Wu, since you're blocking all of this for Xie Tian, why don't you die? A heaven-piercing expert roared out. This was a heaven-piercing expert from the Empress family. His descendants were all killed by Xie Tian. Ho Qichuan didn't have the heart to attack Yang Wu, so he let this person lead the attack. Other than that, there were also heaven-reaching experts from the Empress family's subordinate forces that were attacking Yang Wu. They all wanted to kill Yang Wu on the spot and then exterminate Yang Wu. Yang Wu did not reply and allowed the other side to hit him. After all, Xie Tian was in the wrong. If his son made a mistake, he would take responsibility for it. There wasn't anything wrong with this. They saw that they couldn't kill Yang Wu. No matter how heavily they injured Yang Wu, if they didn't destroy his soul, Yang Wu wouldn't die. Some people attacked Xie Tian. Xie Tian, die. A heaven-piercing expert raised a divine weapon and charged at Yang Jinan and Xie Tian. This was an intermediate heaven-piercing expert from a first-class force. Several of his disciples had died at Xie Tian's hands. In the tragedy of the saints, Xie Tian had offended too many forces. Yang Jinan raised the south-suppressing spear to block the other side and continued to protect Xie Tian. With one person attacking Xie Tian, others would attack Xie Tian. In the blink of an eye, several people changed directions and attacked Xie Tian. Yang Jinan alone couldn't block them all. He really is my son. Yang Wu ignored the pain on his body and directly blocked these heaven-piercing experts. A black pot flew out and covered Yang Jinan and Xie Tian. I'm not your son. Xie Tian gave a shocked roar as he broke free of Yang Jinan's control. He wanted to use the soaring shuttle to escape, but he couldn't escape. Yang Wu reached out a hand and bound Xie Tian, so he couldn't escape even if he wanted to. In the next moment, a divine rope flew out and tied up Xie Tian. Then it threw him into Yang Jinan's hands and said, Father, Xing, take Xie Tian back to the family. Kill anyone who tries to stop you. At this moment, Yang Wu's killing intent soared. A terrifying divine energy swept out in all directions. It was like the might of the heavens had descended, scaring all the creatures present. After being closed for 10 years in the divine firmament battlefield, he had directly broken through the intermediate heaven-piercing realm and entered the advanced heaven-piercing realm. In these 10 years, he had seriously broken through. No barrier could block his path. As long as he had enough power, he could continue to break through. This was the benefit of having a solid foundation. This was also why he had told Ziyu that his realm was already above hers. Yang Wu, do you really want to become enemies with the world? Someone criticized Yang Wu. The father will pay for the son's debts. It doesn't matter how you treat me. I will take care of my son and give the world an explanation. Yang Wu said in a deep voice. Then how will you explain it? He has killed countless people and established the evil sky sect. If we don't get rid of him, it will be hard for the people to be angry. Someone shouted. From today onwards, he will not do evil again. If you need any compensation, just say it. Sacred pills, or even divine weapons. Yang Wu affirmed again. He had already shown his greatest sincerity. If they were still not willing, then don't blame him for being heartless. So many people from the Empress family died. How will this be settled? A heaven-piercing from the Empress family asked. They can't come back to life. Even if you kill Xie Tian, they can't come back to life. Yang Wu replied. Humph, they all deserve to die. Xie Tian was filled with hostility. Then he said, You all deserve to die. You caused my mother's death. From the moment he was born, he only knew that his mother was protecting him. This impression had never been erased. He came back to avenge his mother. We don't even know who your mother is. How can we harm her? The heaven-piercing from the Empress family replied. Yang Wu did not want to be entangled with them. He said to the people in front of him, I'll bring Xie Tian back to the Yang family. If you want compensation, just make a list. As long as it is reasonable, I, Yang Wu, will compensate you. Other than that, I will also give you an explanation. After saying this, he ignored the people present. With a wave of his clothes, he formed a heaven and earth sleeve. It covered Yang Zhenan, Xie Tian, and Yang Zixing. Then he used the will of the transcendent realm to bring them away. After Yang Wu's group left, there was a sudden surge of blood-red light on the ground. A terrifying energy covered the world and swept out at all the living beings present. Other than that, there was also a terrifying death field that was born here. There were pitiful cries and angry curses that rang out. Not long after, there was only a thick blood qi that filled the world. When the blood qi disappeared, there were only withered corpses left behind. It's a good thing that second brother and Yang Wu left, otherwise we wouldn't have been able to make a move. A blood-red figure appeared and muttered. A person wearing a fierce mask on the side softly said, It was too dangerous this time. Moreover, once Yang Wu returns, he will definitely kill us. It's a good thing he has a cheap son that we can use. This matter has nothing to do with us. Everything belongs to Xie Tian. Hey. Yang Wu returned to the Yang family. The current Yang family had greatly changed. Compared to 20 years ago, it was like the difference between heaven and earth. The area around the Yang family had been included in the family's territory and had expanded by more than 5 times. The Yang family city was also the same, becoming a peak-level city in the transcendent realm. The aura surrounding it was incomparably shocking. This was also the reason why the Yang family had many saints and even heaven-piercing experts. Today, Shu Yujun, Wan Lanxin, Yang Ba, Su Chu, and the others had all broken through to the Jade Moon realm. The reason why they didn't deal with Xie Tian was because Yang Zhenan had stopped them. Shu Yujun and Wan Lanxin were behind the scenes in the Yang family. Even Yang Qinghu, the patriarch of the family, respected them. As for Yang Wu Shuang and Yang Tianjiao, they had already become the leaders of the Yang family's new generation. If it wasn't for Yang Zixing, they would have been incomparably dazzling. As for Yang Wu's youngest disciple, Yang Yuan, he was incomparably low-key. There weren't many people who knew him, but only the Yang family knew how strong he was. He cultivated incomparably hard and even had an evil dragon as his companion, growing together. Dealing with the Xing family and Lu family's younger generation was all done by him. The Xing family and Lu family's geniuses had all become his whetstones, but there weren't many people who knew about him. Yang Yuan's achievements had already silently caught up to his senior brother and senior sister, becoming an expert that walked on the edge of darkness. He had a nickname, the Dark Dragon. Yang Wu came back as soon as he said he would. The Yang family didn't even have time to react. When he appeared in the Yang family, the Yang family members were all stunned. It's the old family head. He came back from the God realm? Are my eyes playing tricks on me? Stop daydreaming, the old family head is a tyrant in the God realm. It seems like it really is the old family head. There's also Law Protector Zhenan and Law Protector Reincarnation. This should be the old family head's will clone. His statue is still in the family, so it's normal for him to come back occasionally. No, this is the old family head's true body. Quickly greet the old family head. The old family head is back. After someone called out in shock, the entire Yang family was filled with excitement. Everyone in the Yang family knew about the legend of Yang Wu. His deeds had always been circulating. The children born in the last 20 years hadn't seen him, but they'd heard his stories so many times that their ears had grown calluses. Many people who were in seclusion were all alarmed. Yang Wu's return was a big matter, a huge matter. The family head, Yang Qinghu, immediately rushed over with a group of saint-level elders. We respectfully welcome the return of the old family head. Yang Qinghu took the lead and bowed respectfully to Yang Wu. Yang Wu waved his hand and said, "You all can leave first. I'll speak with you after I'm done with my matters." After a pause, he said to Yang Zixing, "Reincarnation, tell Qinghu about what just happened. It's better to be safe than sorry. Leave this matter to me. I'll have a chat with the family head," Yang Zixing said, then left with Yang Qinghu. After that, it was time for Yang Wu to deal with the family's matters. Chapter 1718. Xie Tian had been tied up by Yang Wu's divine rope, so he had thousands of ways to escape. Unfortunately, Yang Wu had placed a restriction on him, so he could not struggle no matter what. He could only obediently be brought back. This time, he did not have that cheap master of his to save him, so he was destined to obediently stay by Yang Wu's side. Yang Wu brought Xie Tian to the peak of Dao Verification Mountain and cast a restriction divine path. He isolated a small world and released Xie Tian. After Xie Tian was tied up, he did not run away. Instead, he circulated his energy to heal his injuries. At the same time, he waited for Yang Wu to say something. "Is your mother really dead?" Yang Wu asked with a sad expression. "She was killed by the Empress family on the day I was born," Xie Tian replied. He then added, "She died to save me. I've already dealt with the people who killed your mother. Don't cause trouble for the Empress family in the future. After all, half of your bloodline is theirs," Yang Wu advised. "Bullshit, everyone in the Empress family deserves to die. If I don't kill them all, I won't be able to vent the hatred in my heart," Xie Tian said unhappily. He then stared at Yang Wu and said, "You're my father, so why don't you want to take revenge for my mother? Why are you helping those bastards? When have I ever helped them? It's just that every debt has its debtor. It's enough that the people who killed your mother have been punished. Could it be that you want to kill everyone in the world to be happy? I don't care. As long as they're related to my mother, I want them to die. I won't leave a single one alive." "Then why did you kill others and even enter the demonic path? They didn't offend me, so why would I kill them? Moreover, I was born a demon, so do I need to explain myself to anyone if I kill one or two people? They're just too weak." "Then does it mean that if they're stronger than you, they can kill you at will?" "That's right. If I meet someone stronger than me and I can't escape, I can let them kill me and I won't complain. If they can't kill me, when I turn around, I'll exterminate their 9 generations." After Yang Wu talked to Xie Tian, he found that Xie Tian's mind was filled with the idea of the strong being king. It didn't matter who was right or wrong, the bigger fist was the reason. No matter what he said, Xie Tian would not change. "This is all my fault." Yang Wu blamed himself. If he had known earlier that Hou Yu Dai was pregnant with his flesh and blood, he definitely wouldn't have let her bear it alone. If he had brought her back to the Yang family earlier, and kept her by his side, perhaps this wouldn't have happened. At the same time, he thought of the peerless prodigy, his daughter and son. He wondered what kind of character the two madams had taught them. Yang Wu wanted to ask who Xie Tian's master was, but Xie Tian did not say anything. It was a good thing he knew that Hou Yu Dai's body was still preserved. According to Xie Tian's master, there was a chance of reviving her in the future as long as Xie Tian was strong enough. And Master Xietian wanted him to dominate the transcendent realm and become the #1 person in the transcendent realm, or even the human realm. At that time, he would be able to control all life and death. Yang Wu did not know what Master Xietian meant, but he was certain that the other side's background was not simple. Other than that, Hou Yu Dai's body was still in his hands. If he couldn't find the other side, he wouldn't be able to find Hou Yu Dai's body. It would be very hard for Xie Tian to meet him. "Can you find your master?" Yang Wu asked again. "I can't find him, only he came to find me. Xie Tian shook his head. Then you can stay by my side in the future. Impossible. Either you kill me or let me leave. We aren't familiar with each other. Instantly, Yang Wu felt very suffocated and uncomfortable. Father and son not being familiar. This was a very painful matter. If you leave now, only death awaits you, Yang Wu said in a deep voice. Then he said, when you think it through, you can leave this place. After saying this, he left Dao Verification Mountain, leaving Xie Tian alone. Xie Tian cursed. Who do you think you are? Based on what do you have to keep me here? Quickly let me out. I'm not your son. Quickly let me go. You can kill me, but you can't imprison me here. Xie Tian's cultivation was still there, but this was Yang Wu's Dao Verification Mountain. With Yang Wu's willpower suppressing it, even if he used the soaring shuttle, he wouldn't be able to break out. Yang Wu's power was everywhere, suppressing him. Yang Wu couldn't communicate with Xie Tian smoothly for the time being, so he needed some time to get used to it. Wuer, let me talk to him. Yang Zhenan appeared beside Yang Wu and said, Father, don't go. He's already been bedeviled. Unless you wipe out his soul and make him a new person, he'll be like this for the rest of his life. He can't differentiate between good and evil, Yang Wu replied. Even so, he's still your son. You're responsible for him becoming like this, but as his grandfather, I can't just stand by and watch. They say that relatives are separated by generations, so I'll talk to him. Maybe we can talk to him. You were brought up by me and your mother, so I'm more experienced than you in taking care of children. Go and see Wu Shuang and Tianjiao. They're not any worse than you and Wen'er. Alright, then you can go. By the way, I saw my younger brother in the God realm. He's doing well, but he has a heavy responsibility on his shoulders, so he can't come back for a while. I'll bring him back to see you and Mother in the future. It's good that that brat isn't dead. It's good that he's not dead. Yang Zhenan couldn't help wiping away his tears. After so many years, he finally heard news about his other son. He was incredibly excited and relieved. Yang Zhenan went to the peak of Mount Dao Verification, while Yang Wu returned to the clan to see his mother and Gong Xilan. He hadn't come back for so many years, so the first thing he had to do was to see them. Then, he went to see his wife and children. Gong Xilan still looked the same. She gave off a feeling that she was getting younger and younger. Her strength had also increased by 1 level. Her improvement wasn't fast, but it was steady. She still had a lot of lifespan left. Su Romei had also quietly stepped into the Jade Moon realm. This was something no one had expected. She had been taking care of the herb garden and planting all kinds of herbs. Now, she had planted high-grade herbs in a large area of the Yang family, and there was no lack of saintly medicine. Her strength was also continuously increasing. Only Yang Zhenan, Gong Xilan, and a few people close to her knew her true cultivation level. When they saw Yang Wu, they couldn't help but sigh. They didn't waste too much of Yang Wu's time. They let Yang Wu leave. As long as Yang Wu returned, how could they not have time to gather? In a quiet and secluded place that was newly opened behind the Yang family, Xu Yujun and Wan Lanxin lived there. The two of them were Yang Wu's women. In the Yang family, Yang Wu's position in the transcendent realm was unshakable. The Yang family naturally took good care of them, not daring to neglect them in the slightest. In these years, Xu Yujun and Wan Lanxin lived in seclusion. They both had one goal, and that was to step into the Jade Moon realm as soon as possible. One day, they would go to the God realm to find Yang Wu. Xu Yujun's cultivation talent was higher than Wan Lanxin's. Her comprehension was also stronger than Wan Lanxin's. However, Wan Lanxin's tenacity was also extraordinary. The two of them were taken care of by Yang Wu. Their physiques had risen by a level. Moreover, the profound arts they cultivated had reached the true God realm. Their cultivation speed was much faster than ordinary martial artists. It was also recently that the two of them broke through to the Jade Moon realm. If the transcendent realm hadn't advanced, they wouldn't have been able to advance in such a short period of time. Now that the transcendent realm had undergone earth-shaking changes, and Yang Wu's great influence, they had imperceptibly benefited from it. The two of them belonged to the capable type. As their cultivation grew stronger, their temperament became more outstanding. No matter where they went, they could charm a large number of men. At this moment, the two of them and another young man and woman were excitedly waiting for Yang Wu's arrival. The young man and woman were their children. The elder sister, Yang Wushuang, and the younger brother, Yang Tianjiao. Both of them were dragons and phoenixes among men. They were only in their early 20s, but they had already cultivated to the peak of the minor saint realm. They were only a step away from the saint realm. This was the result of them not pursuing a breakthrough. Otherwise, they would have already become young saints. In fact, the two of them had the strength of a battle saint. When Yang Wu walked in, Xu Yujun and Wan Lanxin exclaimed excitedly, "Husband." In the next moment, they both pounced towards Yang Wu. Yang Wu opened his arms and hugged the two of them. He was incomparably happy in his heart. Reuniting with his lover after a long time, the joy couldn't be expressed with words. After a long time, Yang Wu released them. His gaze fell on the young man and woman who had similar facial features to him. When they stood together, absolutely no one would dare to say that they were father and daughter, father and son. They were more like brothers and sisters. Wu Shuang, Tianjiao, quickly come and greet your father, Xu Yujun and Wan Lanxin said in unison. The pair of children quickly knelt down and greeted, "Greetings, father." Yang Wu left the transcendent world not long after they were born. Their memories of him were told by their two mothers. Now that they saw him in person, they didn't feel uncomfortable at all. Instead, he looked similar to what they had imagined. No, he should be younger. Get up. Let father take a good look at you. Yang Wu gently stroked them and lifted them up. He looked at the pair of children seriously and was quite satisfied. They were full of righteousness and heroic spirit. It was the vigor that young people should have. Moreover, their dantian was like the sea. Their foundation was quite solid. Obviously, they had put in a lot of hard work. "Father, you're so handsome. No wonder mother nags me every time she sees you." The bolder sister, Yang Wushuang, was the first to speak. "Haha, father didn't coax your mother with this face." Yang Wu was instantly amused by his daughter's words. "That's right. Father is a great hero in the world. Brother and I are proud of you. It's just that we haven't been able to see you for so many years. We're still very unhappy. Grandfather, grandmother, and great-grandfather all say that you have no choice, but I still feel that you're not a suitable father." Yang Wushuang revealed her true feelings. "Child, how can you say that?" Xu Yujun glared at her daughter. Yang Tianjiao, who was at the side, also said softly, "I also think that sister is right. Father has let you down." Chapter 17-19. The news of Yang Wu's return spread to every corner of the transcendent realm like a tsunami. The divine mathematician immediately rushed to the Yang family to see Yang Wu. The divine mathematician had always been the number one eccentric in the transcendent realm. No matter where he went, he would always receive the greatest hospitality. However, this time, Yang Wu did not personally come out to greet him. He had Gong Xilan and Yang Zixing greet him first. Yang Wu knew why he was here, but he couldn't think of a way to deal with him. At the same time, the various powers sent people over. They were all here for Xietian. There were many people who had died in the evil sky sect. There were heaven-reaching experts and saints. When the news of their deaths spread, the various powers were filled with rage. They thought that this was definitely done by Yang Wu and Xietian. This was the news that the Long Life Hall sent out. When they left the evil sky sect, those people had not died yet. Why did they all die after they left? A life for a life. Yang Wu and Xietian, this father and son pair, want to dominate the transcendent realm. After killing so many people, they must be severely punished. Yang Wu wouldn't do something like this, right? He has already become a god in our transcendent realm. Is there a need? Xie Tian, he must have allowed Xie Tian to do this, otherwise how could my family's old ancestor die? The Empress clan has been destroyed, completely destroyed. Xie Tian has an irreconcilable enmity with the Empress clan, only he would do this. Without Yang Wu's help, how could Xie Tian deal with the Empress clan? That's right, let's go to the Yang family to demand justice. If there isn't an explanation, we won't let this matter rest. All the spearheads were pointed at Yang Wu and Xie Tian. Many powers rushed to the Yang family with the slogan of demons. Those powers that had enmity with the Yang family would not let go of this chance to hit them while they were down. Especially the Xing family and the Lu family, they were fanning the flames and spreading this matter. With the Longevity Hall as a witness, most people believed it to be the truth. The Empress clan being destroyed, this news was too shocking. When the Yang family heard this news, they were completely flustered. Even though their forces had grown tremendously in the past 20 years, they were still deeply worried when faced with the continuous questioning from so many forces. He really didn't expect that the old patriarch would bring back such a big disaster this time. Especially after the news of Xie Tian being Yang Wu's son came out, the people of the clan were all silent. As the old patriarch, Yang Wu's position in the Yang family was too important. Who would dare to gossip? It was better to wait for the old patriarch to make the decision. Without the old patriarch, there would be no Yang family today. No matter what the old patriarch did, they were willing to shoulder the burden with him. While everyone was waiting for Yang Wu to appear, he was no longer in the Yang family and had appeared in Xie Tian and the Empress territory. He was completely shocked when he saw that the two places had been completely flattened, leaving only shriveled corpses behind. Who could be so cruel? Find the source for me. Yang Wu roared out and forced out a drop of blood essence. He fused it with the will of the transcendent realm and forcefully turned back time to see what had happened here. The will of the transcendent realm covered this area, and Yang Wu had to pay a price for forcefully turning back time. His blood essence was the price. A single drop of blood essence was far from enough, forcing him to expend a bit of mental energy before he could barely see what had happened. He saw a blood infant and a masked expert cleanse this area with blood. They had heaven-defying methods, directly locking down the area, so no one could send out any information. Moreover, after the death field was released, it was enough to take the lives of large amounts of people. The blood infant could also extract their blood, so there was not a single person from the Empress clan that survived. King of Hell, blood infant! Yang Wu couldn't help calling out in shock. In the past, he had mobilized all the righteous factions to the Death Mountain range, wiping out the King of Hell's palace in one fell swoop. Even if there were some remnants of the King of Hell's palace left, they had already become rats that everyone wanted to kill. They did not dare consider themselves as people of the King of Hell's palace. He never thought that the palace master of the King of Hell's palace, King of Hell, would not die. The blood infant that had been born was also not dead, coming out alive from the place he had destroyed. He couldn't help thinking that when he destroyed the King of Hell's palace, he felt that it was too easy. How could an old power like the King of Hell's palace be destroyed so easily? Find them, I have to find them, Yang Wu secretly said in his heart. Only by finding them could he solve the Yang family's crisis. He tried to connect with the will of the transcendent realm, wanting to find their location, but the transcendent realm could not find them. This made Yang Wu feel that this was a bit troublesome. At this time, many powers came to question the Yang family. There were even people who did not fear death, directly cursing Yang Wu and Xie Tian in the Yang family city, even threatening to kill their way into the Yang family. Although these people were quickly taken down by the Yang family's situation was becoming worse. Xie Tian colluding with the demons and the Empress family being destroyed, these were all things that were set in stone. The Tianli temple that rarely participated in the outside world also sent people down the mountain, coming with the monks of the Shaolin temple. Kunlun, Wudong, Amei, and many other old powers also came. No one wanted to follow in the footsteps of the Empress family, so they had to give an explanation for this matter. The Yang family had Yang Zixing, Yang Ba, Su Chu, and the others blocking the other powers, waiting for Yang Wu to appear. If anyone dared to force their way in, they could not blame them for being impolite. These powers did not dare move rashly. If they were provoked, it would be the Empress family's fate, which would be very troublesome. As the leader of the battle race, the Xian Yuan family first asked the Yang family on behalf of the Empress family, "Why hasn't Yang Wu appeared?" The matter of the Empress family must be explained. This was the Xian Yuan family's patriarch who had personally come. This was the new patriarch that the Xian Yuan family had elected in the past 10 years, Xian Yuan Long. He had some old grudges with Yang Wu before. Xian Yuan Long did not want to see the Yang family grow bigger. This time, their Xian Yuan family also had Tong Tiandai in the evil sky cult's territory, so they had to understand this matter. We don't have the final say in what the old patriarch does, so don't force us. We are more clear on the old patriarch's character than you. He would not do something like this. Moreover, if he really wanted to deal with someone, he would first destroy the Xing family. Why would he destroy our Yang family's ally? That is impossible. Yang Zixing replied. Everyone also felt this was the case. The Xing family had always wanted Yang Wu, so they had the deepest grudge with Yang Wu. Humph, Xie Tian is his son and he has the deepest grudge with the Empress family. Helping his son destroy the Empress family is natural. Xian Yuan Long said with a cold snort. Someone agreed, that's right. Now that Yang Wu has become a god of the transcendent realm, he can do whatever he wants. If we don't unite today, whoever offends him in the future will be exterminated. We ask the Xian Yuan family to make a decision for us. This was an unfamiliar Tongtian. No one knew where he came from, but he was actually a new consecrator of the Xian Yuan family. If someone spoke up, countless people would speak up. Yang Zixing did not move, but Yang Ba and Su Chu were like door gods, protecting him from behind. The two of them had already broken through to the Jade Moon realm, so they were considered powerful existences in the transcendent realm. When some people were speaking out, a voice sounded out, "You pig-heads, if this matter was really done by my master, he would have done it without anyone knowing. How could he give you a chance to criticize him? It must be someone else trying to frame him. If you keep being so rude, don't blame me for activating the family protection." The one who appeared was a man that was even more beautiful than a beauty. It was the beautiful military advisor Lu Ji. In these years, Lu Ji had been moving between the Wu Dang sect and the Yang family. He was a disciple of the Wu Dang sect, the son-in-law of the Yang family, and the chief military advisor of Yang Wu, so he had already considered himself a member of the Yang family. There was another person beside Lu Ji. It was the Yang family's supreme law protector Yu Chang'an. This pair of friends had always been close despite their age difference. When Yang Tai had disappeared, Yu Chang'an was the Yang family's pillar of stability, while Gong Xilan had already retreated behind the scenes. His strength was similar to Yang Zhenan's, reaching the 3rd level of the Jade Moon realm. Lu Ji's realm was not low either. He had also entered the Jade Moon realm, and reached the 4th level of the Jade Moon realm. Others only knew that his formation skills were unparalleled, but did not know that his cultivation speed was monstrous. The yin-yang body was also a first-class divine body in the God realm. It was because of this realm that Lu Ji dared to open his mouth and curse people. Many people also recognized Lu Ji. He was once a martial saint who entered the final 10,000 saints. His ranking was so high that even Xian Yuan Tianlong could not compare to him. Lu Ji, don't be sarcastic. What realm is Yang Wu at now? If he wants to destroy a faction, it would not be difficult. If he does not appear to give everyone an explanation, it means that he has a guilty conscience. Someone said to Lu Ji. This person was surprisingly from Kunlun. He was an old man. In the past, Kunlun's sect master Kuan Mingzi and Yang Wu were mortal enemies. The two of them had once fought and Kunlun lost, but that did not stop Kuan Mingzi from being dazzling. He had already gone to the God Realm. He was probably doing quite well there. If it was that easy for my master to destroy a faction, why would he give you the chance to speak here? Before you speak, use your brain. Senior Divine Mathematician is here. Let him say a few words of justice for my master. Lu Ji replied. Divine Mathematician was the first person to come to the Yang family. After Lu Ji's voice fell, he appeared. The demonic seed is indeed very suspicious, but I feel that the blood infant is the fisherman who benefits from it. Divine Mathematician solemnly said, then he continued, actually, many strange things have happened in the past few years. Many living beings have died mysteriously, and in the end, the spearhead is always pointed at Xie Tian. But according to this old man's divination, the true sin does not lie with him. Divine Mathematician's words were very authoritative. After he said this, many people calmed down. The blood infant was indeed the most mysterious and terrifying person. He was even more difficult to deal with than Yang Zixing and Xie Tian. No one had ever seen him, so whether he existed or not, no one knew. Suddenly, Yang Wu appeared in front of them and softly said, the ones who destroyed the Empress clan were the King of Hell's palace and the blood infant.